Hi everyone. Yeah, well, I'm back again. Just for a short stream. It's my birthday tomorrow, 29. So yeah, next year, big 30. The link has been out. Has already gone out to our friends who hopefully will be joining us. We may get a couple more as an optional.
Lauren.
Oh, hi Sam, how are you?
Not bad, mate, not bad. How are you doing, bud?
Pretty good, yeah. Thanks.
A bit of a wild look. I had a busy night.
What's that?
Busy night.
You had a bit. You tired?
No, you look very wild. You look like you've been busy. Been drinking the coffee.
Oh no. Sorry, I've actually just woke up from a nap. So
right.
A bit. Yeah, John's got the link, and Tony as well. If they would like to join us, they can.
No, I don't know about. Well, Tony might have no idea what he's doing tonight. I don't know if he's out. So what have you been up to, Lawrence?
This weekend I've just been kind of relaxing. It's my birthday tomorrow, so
Happy birthday for tomorrow. I wish I'd known. I'd have got you something.
That's all right. Don't worry, buddy. Don't worry about that.
Would have sorted you out with probably something, but well, I'll sort you out at TFN.
Oh, bless. Thanks. When's your birthday's in November, isn't it?
No, it's March.
All right. Yeah. Well, hopefully, we'll be able to sort something out for each other. I mean, I will find out tomorrow just about the TFN room arrangement.
Oh yeah, just give me a shout when you can. I'm not working tomorrow. It's my last day of my holiday tomorrow, so I'm free all day. If you need to drop me a bell or a text or something to let me know about the pricing, feel free.
Okay then.
Oh my
hi, John.
God! Look who's shown up. We're having such a lovely time, and then this man shows up. We can call him a man, and completely ruins everything. Other than that, how are you, Knowlsy? I think you can call it even. Other than that, how are you, Knowlsy?
Hey!
How are you, John?
Couldn't resist putting Pokemon theme song on.
Call it even, John, yeah?
Yeah? Was it the original theme song?
There's the one sung by Jonathan Young. He's a YouTube musician, and he kind of covers like anime and other songs, and he's really good.
Really good.
Yeah, I've heard of one. It's called Pelik, I think, Peliki or something. I don't know if you know of him. He does like anime. He's done all the Power Rangers songs. Yeah, he does videos live in his studio.
Yeah, I know him. He's very good as well.
Mm.
He's not been as active as he used to be. I think this whole YouTube change thing that happened with the algorithm, I think it's really hurt him financially, because he used to be, obviously YouTube was his job, and he used a lot of YouTube and that other service that YouTubers use on the side as well, Patreon. He used that as well. And literally his job was producing music, covers, and actually he does actually have a band as well. So that was his job, was performing. But I think the whole algorithm change thing, it hurt him. And he has been making videos lately, but he's very split, not as often as he used to be. He used to be uploading probably about 4 times a week, usually.
Yeah.
But now it's like maybe one or 2 times a week, and he's I think his confidence has knocked a little bit because it's really hurt him financially. I think.
He's actually doing a lot of work with Caleb Hiles.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
I think he's teamed up with him for the moment because it probably works better. But I would say that, yeah, for a lot of big YouTubers that I follow, yeah, they've been pretty badly by the algorithm. They're actually relying on Patreon to actually keep the money coming in.
Yeah.
YouTubers that I follow, yeah, they've been pretty badly bad.
So, how's everyone been then?
I'm okay.
Right, let me just go with something here. Right, so I've had this. It's healing really nicely, as you can probably see. But
it looks good.
The Pantheon is bloody brilliant stuff. But anyway, so I've had this tattoo now for nearly 5 days. Right, I got it on Thursday.
Yeah.
I've spent all weekend walking around the house with it on display, and my dad hasn't noticed. Literally.
Oh my lord!
I was stood in the kitchen this morning, literally with my arm like that, while he was in the kitchen having a cup of tea, and I was like, he didn't notice. He just kind of like continued having his cup of tea, and he hasn't actually noticed. I think my mum noticed.
Oh, he has, but he just can't be asked to mention anything.
No, he'd mentioned something, mate. Seriously, I don't think he's actually noticed. You know what? Might as well go out and get like 10 more of them, and then like maybe in like a year's time, he'll be like, "Where did you get those tattoos?" Oh, I don't know, like a year ago. Seriously, the man's not said anything on it, unless he just maybe has noticed. He doesn't bother to say anything. But you know, as far as I know, he's not actually noticed. But I am because I keep thinking I am going to get another one. But I've been looking at my other arm and thinking, you know what? If I got another dragon on that arm, it'd look real nice. Maybe from the same series, but I don't know who to get because there's at least four of the dragons I can get from the series.
I like that one.
I take it, Lawrence, will you be getting yourself inked at any point?
Well, I've thought about it on and off for several years. As I say, I would only probably get a small one. So because I wouldn't want to be like I mean, wait, your suits for a job interview and stuff. You're quite well covered up. But I wouldn't want one that I would display readily in a workplace. But I probably would get one that I can keep sort of just up here, and then I can cover it up when I feel it's inappropriate to have it showing.
Well, I could cover it up with long shirts if I needed to. To be frank, most of the people at Primark have got tattoos anyway. I don't think it's too much of an issue.
Yeah.
Oops.
But anyway, Knowlsy, we'll call it even, yeah? Because since I owed you for that cinema ticket, I've bought you one for Broly, so we'll call it even.
Can do. Or you could just pay me what you owe me before breaking kneecaps, like Stewie did with Brian.
Hopefully you don't mind me. It was a last minute thing, mate. Because I came across an article saying it was showing on the 23rd. It was like that one day, and I thought, please be in Hull, please be in Hull. It was like view, brilliant. What time? 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Right, 8 p.m. because I finish work at 6, so that gives us time to do something before we go see the film. Hopefully. It's all right with you, mate. I hope I haven't screwed up a plan or anything for you. Oh, it's Tony! Everybody, Tony is graced with his presence.
Ready?
Everybody.
You ready?
Tony. Hail him.
You ready? You ready? Let's talk about ponies.
Yes, let's talk about ponies.
If you want to.
Actually, I've got the perfect song for that. No, it's all right.
You're aware it's impossible to wind up Tony. The man's like a rock.
Yeah.
Unless you say what I said when we met up, that I don't like William Shatner.
Get out.
I don't know how you cannot not like Shatner. I mean, Shatner was the original, like the beginning of everything. I don't know why it gets so much stick.
Captain fucking Kirk, man.
I know, but
The essence of manliness.
I know, just
The basis of of how you should act as a bloke.
Well, look at my pecs. Look at my face. No one else matters from this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leonard Nimoy. Except Leonard Nimoy is better.
I'm sorry I can't hear you of the sound how hoarse I am. You've got the admiration and respect of his crew. He was command of his own starship by the age of 33, right? And so yeah, he shags any alien girl he finds. So
Especially the green ones.
Especially the green ones. Actually, he didn't. I think once, as a green skilling girl. An Orion slave girl. I'm just adjusting my camera there. Yeah. So what we're talking about then?
Anything really.
All right.
Tell you what, I've got something. I want to throw out. Who here really likes what they're doing with Spider-Man at the moment? Isn't Spider-Man fan?
I didn't get to go and see Into the Spider-Verse.
I haven't seen Spider-Verse yet either, so...
No, I'm talking about the live-action films.
Well, more? More?
I like Spider-Man in the MCU.
He's the best. He's the
I
best
like
Spider-Man.
I mean, I just like the look of Mysterio in the upcoming film. I really like how they've done him.
Yeah, it would be great to see him as a villain on the big screen because, how he can change and create illusions. That would be good.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's about time we've got Mysterio because I was really hoping they wasn't going to go with Green Goblin again. As much as I love the Green Goblin, he's been done twice now on the big screen. I don't want to see him, and I've been hoping for something like Mysterio for a lot of years, and I'm really happy that they're doing it.
Yeah.
The last I know Tobey Maguire, before he went down shit street, weren't they supposed to be doing Mysterio originally for the third film?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I think in Spider-Man 4,
no. It's always going to be Sandman.
It's like a team of villains.
Well,
I think because one of the
but
yeah, they couldn't have done it in those They couldn't have done it in the Sam Raimi trilogy because Doctor Octopus is already dead.
Well, so... no, he's not dead. Well, he seems like he's dead. You just see him sort of floating in the water. Doesn't mean he's dead though. I mean, how many times has that happened in the comics where they have been dead for about a year and a half, and then suddenly, I'm back, and it was only an inconvenience that I was dead,
Well, look at Gwen Stacy. Essentially, in the comic books, they brought Gwen back after she died and made a Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, it's like a clone.
No.
Different universe.
That's the Spider-Gwen. That Gwen Stacy's from an alternate universe. That doesn't count.
All right, but they did bring her back, though, didn't they, from the dead, apparently?
Well, no, she was a clone.
Oh, right. Well, she
was a clone. The ill-fated clone saga.
Yeah, a lot of people have it. Yeah, I've kind of watched... I can't remember the guy's name, but there's a really good comic book YouTuber, and he was talking about the infamous clone thing. I've never read it myself.
Not Variant, by any chance, is it?
Sorry?
Not Variant, is it?
It might be something like that. I don't know.
I was going to say, if you like comic books, Variant Comics is a really good channel to watch.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I can't remember his name now, but yeah, I was watching it and he talks about X-Men, Marvel, DC, all of them, and pretty much he was talking about the clone thing with the whole Gwen Stacy, return of Gwen Stacy. And he's saying that it was a bit of a train wreck of a series. It was a clever concept, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some good Spider-Man stories involving other Spider-Mans. For example, Scarlet Spider's really good. Miles Morales is always really good. And then you had the
the Silver Spider-Man, where he's like from the universe, where he's a multi-billionaire kind of thing.
Yeah, he's Spider-Batman, basically. Yeah.
And then you've got the.
Then you even had the one from our world that comes in, where he's actually a character of fiction, and he's the actor who plays him on TV, and he gets to meet Stan Lee.
Yeah, that's the cartoon. Yeah. Because Madam Web was actually voiced by Joni Lee as well, Stan's wife.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm looking forward to Far From Home because the MCU is doing things right, as in they're giving most of the characters their own story first, their own movie first, and then they're giving them something to do in like an ensemble movie like Civil War and Avengers and stuff like that. But even though there's some of them get introduced in those movies, they still get their own movie. And I'm really glad they didn't go with the, origin story for Spidey, because everybody knows the origin story of Spidey. Like Batman, everybody knows the Batman origin story, dead parents, Batman. So it doesn't need to be reiterated again,
Thing is, though, I would like if they did like a standalone Batman movie, but it's the alternate story that came out where basically his mum and dad survive, but his mum
Flashpoint
becomes the Joker essentially.
Flashpoint.
Female version. Sorry,
we've already done it. It's a cartoon film, Flashpoint.
Yeah, but I'd like to see a live action, maybe see it comes to big screen.
You won't. That's the problem, because DC seems to think that their characters are crap. Warner Brothers, because how many times have you seen a DC movie, and they're even afraid to call Superman Superman? Like, for example, and she goes, "Oh, what does the S mean?" And he goes, "Oh, it's not an S. It's the Kryptonian symbol for peace or whatever it is." And she goes, "Oh, well, all the army guys are calling you Superman," and they all crashes in and loud noises and stuff like that. So you've got that, and then Marvel comes along and goes, "I am Iron Man." So you're not going to see things like Flashpoint. If you want to watch stuff like that, then you're going to have to get the.
Well, in Batman versus Superman, Superman's name was in the title.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, they're afraid to call them those because that's marquee value. They want you to go see the film, but they're afraid to call them these characters, even in their own films. So so most of the lines of dialogue, you won't get it. It's like you look at the fucking first season of The Flash. They weren't calling him Flash. They were calling him The Streak. So it's like, come on, lads, and then like I say, the other side of the coin is I am Iron Man, Anyway, I'm not getting into that debate again because I think we talked about it enough last time around.
Well, like I say, I mean, I get where you're coming from, where the way DC are kind of treating him. I would say, as an exception, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are the exception for live-action films. I think they're well adapted. But when it comes to everyone else, like Batman, well, except for Christopher Nolan, that trilogy, that's a separate trilogy. That's a good Batman.
The problem is, firstly, they left it too late.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they tried starting it with Green Lantern and a few others and stuff like that, and it just like a cold start, and it just and didn't really go anywhere, right? The other problem is there's no unifying voice to tie these movies together. There's no Kevin Feige,
Yeah.
So there's no one there to go, right, this is what we need to do. We need to bring in this villain at this point, and we need to tell these characters' stories separate, but tie it together and stuff like that. And that's what they need to do. And Warner Brothers can't seem to get that concept. You can obviously see they're trying to, but they just can't quite grab it, You
think it'd be really, really cool if someone was to purchase the DC thing from Warner Brothers and just kind of...
I think Disney should. I think Disney should go.
Never happen. Warner Brothers just won't let it go.
No, they won't let it go. But I mean, if they're given enough money, they will. You know?
Well, yeah, there's that. I mean,
See, the
that's
thing is,
technically what Marvel did with Sony, ain't it? They struck a deal with them to get Spider-Man back.
but they've also bought out, Fox, didn't they? So they've got the rights to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four again. But the thing is, if it does go to Disney Studios, say DC, right, which then they can go, right, we're going to put one guy in charge, and Bruce Timm. They should give it to Bruce Timm and go, right, this universe, fucking go nuts, Speaking of Bruce Timm, it comes nicely around. Did you see the announcement of Justice League versus Fateful Five?
Yep.
No.
Which is Bruce Timm, and it's the continuation of the Justice League cartoon. I'm like, yes, finally, fucking yes, please.
As soon as I saw it, I was just like, oh, that's Wonder Woman from the anime. That's from Justice League. And I'm like, oh, they're bringing back the art style and everything.
I'll tell you what, if you want to watch a decent DCEU, watch Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, and Justice League. And you can watch Teen Titans, kind of. It's not quite, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
Not Teen Titans Go, the original Teen Titans.
And check out Young Justice, because that's good as well.
That's good, but I mean, if you want a proper, in continuity universe, it's the DC animated universe, which is, like I say, Batman, Superman, Batman Beyond, Justice League, and Static Shock, because it all ties together.
They did a Flash series, didn't they, in the same universe?
No, they didn't do Flash. Flash was in Justice League cartoon, which is a shame, because I think it would have worked.
No, because that version of Flash is my favourite. He's got everything about him. He's cocky, sarcastic, and
that's probably worse. Yeah.
It's just
that's the thing. That's the thing with that cartoon, Justice League. And as a comic fan, I'm going to get hate for this, but I'll explain why. Way back in the day, I never liked Green Lantern and I never liked Martian Manhunter. I thought they were the fucking dullest characters in the world, and I just didn't like them for whatever reason here and there, But watching Justice League cartoon, that cartoon made me love those characters,
Yeah.
Now Martian Manhunter is one of my favourite characters because of that cartoon.
And also, Green Lantern was voiced by Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar,
yeah.
But if a cartoon can change my opinion on two characters, it shows you how good it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think it's kind of a bit weird. Like Warner Brothers animated studios that do the animated series and everything, they seem to have the head screwed on. They're obviously fans of the comic books and source material and
stuff like this.
Yeah. And they're obviously fans of the source material, the comic books on the animated side of Warner Brothers. But then when you go to the live action side, you can see the massive difference. I mean, personally, I like the Arrowverse. I like Arrow. I like Flash. I haven't seen Legends of Tomorrow just yet. I've got season 1, but I need to finish Arrow first to catch up with it.
Can I throw something at you? Not literally. But I don't know whether or not Tony or Lawrence have seen this series, but I could do with a bit of context because I'm avoiding it because I've heard it's terrible. Basically, the live-action Titan series that's now on Netflix.
I've not watched it yet.
I've not seen it yet.
It's actually very good.
It is on the to-watch list. I've just not got around to watching it yet.
Seriously, right? When it got announced and the casting choices, I was very, very, no, I'm not for this. I'm not for this. Mainly because I didn't like how Starfire looked. And when you watched, I'm not going to say too much, but when you see the first few episodes and she's in it for the first time, let's just put it this way, it's a very, very dark spin on the Titan characters. But I'm not going to say what happens, but watch it. It's obviously at the latter end of a storyline with Batman and Robin, with something that happens with that version of Robin, which we all know in the comics and in the continuity. But it's kind of like a much darker version of the Titans, and it's really good. Actually, it gets really good as you follow it along. And they also introduce...
That comes to the DC TV universe is spot on.
Yeah.
They seem to have got it nailed. The movies just can't seem to get going.
What the heck?
Yeah. I haven't watched I haven't watched really any of the DC series, live action series stuff.
I've watched a few, getting around to getting them all watched, you know, because then Stranger Things goes, oh, look, I'm out, and you go, shit, yeah, Stranger Things.
I need to just watch that. I haven't watched any of that.
Good.
It's really, really good.
It's very good. You know, and so there's other things like that, and you know, so it distracts me, but there's so much to fucking watch at the minute. It's trying to get time to watch any of it is next to impossible.
Mm.
You know?
Well, I mean, DC's Titans, yeah, a lot of fans weren't very happy with the trailer. Actually, a lot of people was a bit like, yeah, we don't like the whole phrase of "fuck Batman" in the trailer and all that lot, and also how the actress playing Starfire was completely nothing like Starfire from the cartoon or the comics. But to be honest, as it progresses, the characters work. The actors playing their roles play a decent role.
Well, because nobody else has seen it. No spoilers, yeah.
No, I'm not going to say anything what happens, but I'm just saying it's great to see Beast Boy in live action for the first time, and they've done him as good, very good. And I think the casting choice is good, and Rachel Raven is good as well. She actually does a good part. And I like Dick Grayson as well. I love that. He's kick ass. He's just a kick ass. Get out of my fucking way kind of character.
That's pre Nightwing Dick Grayson as well.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's Nightwing. But
speaking of trailers, Ghostbusters 3.
Oh yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, because Ghostbusters 3 has been in that sort of development hell thing for the last sort of almost 10, 15 years going on, right? And every time there's a Ghostbusters 3 announcement, I'm just like, yeah, I don't care. You know, show me something, you know?
Yeah.
Because Dan Aykroyd has always gone, yeah, the script's working and we're doing this, and it was Ghostbusters in hell and this, that, and the other. And, you know, it was just never seems to get anywhere past, you know, a tweet, you know.
But now that they've done that kind of, well, I know it's not actually a reboot, but
it's a direct
because it takes place in the same universe as the original.
They've said it's a direct sequel to Ghostbusters 2, and I'm like, finally, you know? Because it might be what I've been saying over the last few years of how you should do a reboot or a soft reboot or a kind of a little sequel, you know? Whereas you have, you know, one of the old...
continue with this new franchise they've got.
No, that's dead, yeah. And
I like the fact that what's the name from the attempted reboots kicked off.
I was just going to say that very thing. But she kicked off, and it wasn't because of racism. If you actually read what she says, it isn't about racism, you know. And she's been misquoted here and there to make her sound like she's a bitch, yeah. And she isn't. I mean, I can see the fact that because she was in that movie and she was probably told that she was getting a sequel deal out of it as well. So I can understand how pissed off she is, right? Because you know, imagine, you know, you do a movie. While you're doing the movie, you're telling you know, your contract is, well, we're going to do 3 movies. We're going to have this much licensing and merchandise, and your face is going to be on all this, and this, that, and the other, and we're going to pay you X amount for all this. And she's probably sat there going, brilliant, let's get on, you know. And then the movie comes out to the, you know, whatever happened. I'm not going to go into it here, but, you know, all the controversy it got. And then suddenly out of nowhere, Ghostbusters 3. You know, and so you can imagine that she's not best happy with that. You know, probably wrongly, she went online and went, oh, well, I don't like this. She should have kept her mouth shut, right? Fair dues, but at the same token, I can see why she's annoyed.
Yeah.
I can see why she's annoyed, but it's not nothing to do with racism and nothing to do with what Donald Trump would do and all like that. Don't take any fucking notice of that.
The only thing is, would you say? I mean, obviously, it is. Well, I'm kind of answering my own question here, really, but in my head. But basically, they've been trying to get a Ghostbusters 3 or sequel of some kind with the original cast for frigging years.
Yeah.
And basically, I think now, would you think it's a bit too late now that we've lost Egon?
I think so, yeah. I mean, the people are saying the true sequel is the video game.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. It's a fantastic video game. One of the best movie franchise games ever. Because it feels like Ghostbusters. It looks like Ghostbusters. And the fact, and really, really cleverly, they created a blank rookie character for you to play. So you essentially are you playing that game, you know, rather than taking over Egon or Winston or whatever. But I think it is. I think it is too late. But if done right, it could be something very, very special.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That trailer was enough because, you know,
I need to watch the trailer. I mean, I love the first two original films. I really like them both.
Oh, me too. It's one of my favourite franchises of anything is Ghostbusters. I fucking love it because I love the fact that these guys don't really know what they're doing, right?
No.
I love the fact it's just like little character things. Like you can guess, it's not really stated in the movie, but you can guess that Peter isn't a scientist, even though he's qualified to be a scientist, because Egon did all the work for him with bribery. That's why he offers him the candy bar, you know?
Yeah.
Because you see Egon eating candy bars and Twinkies and that throughout the film. So he's bribed him with chocolate and that. So it's implied that Egon did all the work for him. That's why the guy at the beginning of the first film says, "You're a poor scientist, Dr. Venkman." You know? And because Venkman doesn't know anything. Because Egon did all the work for him, you know?
That's a big.
And it's character moments like that, you know, and you know, and the whole thing of get her, you know, all that sort of stuff. Because they have no idea what they're doing.
And that library ghost from the first one is still fucking brilliant.
Fucking excellent. And do you know one of the best things about it is as well? All those special effects are all practical and optical effects. You know, when there's no digital, there's none of that. Because what makes it so good is optical effects look like they've been put in, and you can tell an optical effect from an on-set effect or a digital effect, yeah. But because the effects look unnatural, it works for the ghost because you know those shouldn't be there, but they are, and it just makes them that much more sort of realistic, so to speak. Because I love the library ghost; it's one of the best fucking scares in cinema history, I think.
Yeah, oh, that scene's great.
Yeah, and rah, you know, it's brilliant. Because I remember seeing that as a little kid, and it fucking terrified me. That
is that the scene that they're taking the Mickey out? They've added in on the Halifax advert at the moment. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I don't know what the fucking crack with that is. No, it's the bit when, you know, they're in the library and they go, get her, and she goes, rah, like that.
I know the bit you mean. I haven't watched the first film for ages.
I know the first film.
Watch it again.
I know the first movie so well I can do the script from memory.
Right, Tony, let me ask you something, Tony, because I've always been curious when it comes to Ghostbusters, right?
Go on, then.
Why is Ghostbusters 2 considered to be a terrible film?
Because the reason is because the first film ends and there's no need for a sequel. There's no sequel bait. There's no, you know, we can make a sequel out of this. The reason why they got a sequel in the first place is because of the real Ghostbusters cartoon, which was at the time really fucking popular, right? And it was a really good, it's a really good cartoon as well. Particularly the first few seasons are fantastic. When it becomes Slimer and the real Ghostbusters, it's shit. But the first few seasons are fantastic. Written by J. Michael Straczynski most of the time, who created Babylon 5, right? So it's got some good pedigree in there. But it's creepy, it's thingy, and people loved it, right? So they thought, you know, Columbia were like, oh, well, let's make the movie. And because it feels somewhat different to the first movie, because essentially it is real Ghostbusters, the movie, yeah?
Right, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And we also have a little dig at Deke in there as well, which is not Deke, Filmation, which is quite funny. You know, because the reason why, you know why it's called the real Ghostbusters and not just Ghostbusters?
No.
Because another one with Ghostbusters with a gorilla in it.
Yeah, that's for those.
Yeah, I remember back in like 2003 time when there was that reboot of like the real Ghostbusters that came to Jetix, and that I know that weren't really good. At the same time that they did that,
well, basically, what happened was back in the 70s, Filmation had a show called Ghostbusters, right? and it had the gorilla in it and that, and it was a bit like more or less Scooby-Doo, but thingy.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, right? Because the original script for Ghostbusters was going to call it Ghost Smashers, but they obviously either saw this on TV or something like that and went, "Oh, Ghostbusters sounds a good name." So they had to separate the two words as Ghostbusters.
Right.
That's why in the film's titles it says Ghost, then Busters underneath it.
Yeah.
That's what. But all the promotion, it's all one word and stuff like that, right? So anyway, right. Films comes out, massive success. So Filmation go, you know what? We've got this thing called Ghostbusters. Just to cash in on that, we'll make a cartoon version of the live action show, right? Then they got into, because they had the show first, they tried to sue Deke, who was doing the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And they said that they can't call it Ghostbusters, they'll have to call it something else. But it's based on the movie Ghostbusters, this, that, and the other. And then they went, oh, well, okay, then what about the real Ghostbusters? And then the cops were like, yeah, sure, whatever. And that's why it's called the real Ghostbusters, as in these guys are the real Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
It ties into the film as well, that the real Ghostbusters, that the film Ghostbusters is in fact a film of the real Ghostbusters. Because there's an episode where they go see it getting filmed and that, which is quite clever, actually. And that's also explained. That episode explains why they don't look like they do in the cartoon.
Yeah,
and it's a very nice meta episode, actually. I think it's Ghostbusters Go Hollywood or something like that. It is. So that's the reason why it's called The Real Ghostbusters. And because that show was a huge success, we got Ghostbusters 2. And in that film, that's why when they go to the party at the beginning, I know it's a convoluted story to get to this, but when they go to the party, when the little lad goes, oh, I thought it was going to be He-Man, which is a nice little reference to Filmation.
Yeah.
So, but the trailer looked great. In those, what is it, minute and a half, got my blood pumping, because, you know, you don't see anything apart from you see a proton pack being worked on, you hear a proton pack being worked on, you see the beams and that, and then the tap blows off the back of the Ecto, and I'm like, dee! You know? And the guy who's directing it is the guy who calls the Ghostbusters full of crap in Ghostbusters 2. The little kid.
Yeah.
Because my dad says you guys are full of crap. He's the guy who's directing the Ghostbusters 3, which is, again, nice little meta joke.
You think it's going to be... But you think there'll be like something along the lines of the Ghostbusters are now defunct, somebody finds all the old kit and starts it up again?
I think so, yeah. I think what will happen is that'll be Ray working on the gear, right, in the barn. I think what will happen is you'll get a little bit of... They might even reference the video game, but let's not, you know, be hasty or anything. So what will happen is there'll be another big event, you know, years prior to this, where Egon is killed, right? Gets him out of the story, fine. And then what can happen next is Ray's trying to sell the fire station because it's still in his name. He can't sell it, you know, so anyway, Egon's niece or cousin or something comes and goes, you know, to see where he works and that, and she goes, oh, I've come for his stuff, and Ray's like, yeah, go grab it. Phone rings, Ray answers it, oh, we don't do that anymore. Rings again, oh no, we don't do that anymore. Rings again, oh, wait a minute. And it starts to ring off the hook. So they go out, so he goes, oh, I'm going to need help with this. So he recruits the niece, and they go out. They bust a ghost. Takes longer than it should, right? And then Ray puts it down to being too old, and he sits down, lights up a fag, and goes, getting too old for this shit.
All right, guys, I'm just gonna nip off for a sec. I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea, and I'm gonna boil the kettle, and I'm nip downstairs.
All right, no worries. Carry on. Okay. So he sits down, lights a fag, and goes, I'm getting too old for this shit. So they go back to the station, and as they go back, the ghost escapes from the trap and blows up the Ecto-1 as well, right? So he disappears. They work out that the ghosts have become immune to the proton packs, so they have to build newer, better, more powerful ones, which gives you the excuse to build, you know, to redo the proton packs. See? Easy. One scene leads to another.
Either that or
she brings her friends in, you know, and it's Extreme Ghostbusters, but without Egon.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes real sense.
I mean, I was thinking that maybe they might kind of lead into the Extreme Ghostbusters, where there's a female.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the way to do it. Sort of start it off, and you can have the other Ghostbusters there.
And I would like it to be a goth chick, kind of gothy, because that's what she was in Extreme.
Highly, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good show. It only lasted for one season, though, which is a fucking damn shame, because it was a damn good show.
It was good. And Jim Cummings did the awesome theme song.
And it was a thingy as well, reference to, well, the fact that Egon and Janine was there, but they also had the real Ghostbusters show up as well, which was great. You know, back in the saddle in person. So, but yeah, I strongly feel that's probably going to be something like the plot. I mean, I obviously don't know for sure. I'm just speculating on this part, but I think that's going to be the plot, and that's no bad thing, really.
Yeah, well, we'll just find out when we finally get a trailer.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only a year away, so they're probably right now, I would say, they are in, well, pre-production, so they'll be designing costumes and casting and all that sort of good stuff. So I would say probably filming would start probably, I would say, about Easter time-ish. If they want to get it all filmed and ready and out for next year, I would think.
There is one thing I'm curious about. Now, without, you're probably, you're a walking box of knowledge, you are, Tony. But anyway,
So, yeah.
Without any kind of spoilers, because I know nothing about the character, what the hell is the premise, the origins? What is Captain Marvel?
I'm not going to tell you because it'll spoil the film.
I'll have to wait for the film then. It's only about 2 months away anyway.
Well, yeah, the thing is, if I tell you now and they do it in the film, you'd have gone, oh, fucking Tony told me that shit, you know?
Fair enough. I know nothing about the character, so.
If you've seen the trailer,
I know, but I think not knowing much about the character might be good. So you go in and go, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? So, shit.
I mean, I don't know much about Captain Marvel. I do know the origins of Captain Marvel character, where he used to be a man. Then that character went to DC and became Shazam.
No.
They made a female version of Conqueror.
No, way off. Captain Marvel was always actually the comic company that DC eventually bought later on. So he was never part of Marvel. He was just called Captain Marvel.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and because Marvel had a character similar, they officially changed his name to Shazam.
Right. I see.
Yeah. So no, that's, I don't know who told you that, that's bollocks.
All right.
You stay. So yeah.
I'm really not sure what to make of the Shazam film because it just doesn't look appealing to me. It looks just stupid.
You see, the thing with Shazam is, it's a little lad in a man's body, so he's still going to be a little lad, you know, brain-wise and that, but in a man's body. It can work. It does work in the comics. I mean, he's called the Big Red Cheese after all. That's his nickname. You know. But yeah, it should. I think it should work. I think it'd be all right. You know.
Tony's disappeared.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just getting messages from people. Sorry. Oh, bollocks. What's going on? What do you mean couldn't join the call? What's that about? Can you still hear me, guys?
Yeah, still hear you, mate.
Functioning within normal parameters. Simultaneous access to 47 million data channels. Transluminal
I don't know what's going on. I've lost you. I don't know why.
Operational temperature margins from 10 degrees Kelvin to 1,790 degrees Kelvin.
Oh, there we are. I wonder what happened there. We'll get it to go then. Sorry, you had my screen there then going on. So yeah, well, I mean, the films that are coming out this year are just crazy. I mean, sorry, I keep interrupting and fucking carrying the.
No, it's fine.
But I mean, the film's out this year. I mean, Lego next, isn't it? If it's not out, is it out this week or is it next week? It's out. I know it's soon.
Next week, I think.
Yeah, it's not. I know it's not far away. And then there's obviously Captain Marvel. Then there's Endgame, and then there's Spider-Man: Far From Home, and then there's Chapter 2.
Yes.
There's. Hang on. Do you know what? Let's get the fucking list of movies out. I've got my computer on here.
And also, guys, while Tony's looking at the movies, have you seen TF 2005 have announced that it's in production now, the Bumblebee 2?
Yes, and I saw that earlier.
Bloody hell, that was quick. It's been massive, hasn't it? It's done really well.
Because it's a good fucking movie, that's why.
Yeah.
Right, so we got this year, well, Avengers Endgame, obviously. Joker. Now, that is a film that nobody wanted and doesn't need, but there you go. Toy Story 4. Glass, which is out already, I think, isn't it? Which is M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. Lego 2.
Glass isn't very good. It's not done very well.
Yeah. Captain Marvel.
It's not out yet.
No, it's out in America.
Yeah.
In America, but it's not out yet.
Detective Pikachu.
Yay! Looking forward to that.
Now, I never knew that I needed a live-action Pokemon movie, and then I saw the trailer. I went, "Oh my god, I need to see this!"
I love the fact that like hardcore fans are kicking off about the designs. It's like that's probably what they'd look like in real life, idiots.
I mean, fucking hell, I love Pokemon, and yeah, works for me. X-Men Dark Phoenix, but apparently it's fucking shite. So I've heard so far.
What is that from test screenings?
Yeah, X-Men New Mutants.
That I'm looking forward to.
It Chapter 2. Goldfinch. Star Wars Episode 9.
Yes. You know what will really, really make me laugh really hard is that the final conclusion to this trilogy with Episode 9, I would laugh my head off that all the fans are all like, "Oh, this was just as I imagined it. This was brilliant. All the films went so well."
Do you know what? Do you know what would be the best thing in the world is? You know, Luke Skywalker wakes up and goes, "It was all a dream."
Yeah, that'd be good.
It was a force-induced dream.
Yeah, you just kind of see like Chewie kind of trying to wake him up.
Yeah,
you see Han and Chewie.
Oh, yeah, you're back to the very first Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Kid, come on, wake up! We're finally at Alderaan. You know,
Luke, shutting the power down. I'm sorry, Uncle.
That would be the ultimate piss take.
Oh, it'd be the ultimate fuck you, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I do know Mark Hamill's been trolling all the fans because obviously he knows the title of Episode 9.
Who does?
Mark Hamill.
Oh, well, yeah, because Mark Hamill will do that. Oh, yeah, I've got a massive movie as well. Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Oh, yeah, I am looking forward to that. Ooh, does Ghidorah look awesome?
Yes.
And they've announced that they're in production of Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Because, funnily enough, the original movie was the third movie featuring all three of them as well. And we've got Kong. Is it Kong 2 first, though?
I don't know.
Sure it is.
It might
Men in Black as well, which...
I don't know what to make of that because I've seen the teaser for that and I'm a bit on the fence.
Yeah, I'm a bit on the fence, but you never know, it might be good. Toy Story 4.
Yep.
Spider-Man: Far From Home.
When's Toy Story 4 out?
June. Hang on, where is it? June 21st.
Because they really keep out under wraps as to what it's all about.
Yeah. Fast and the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw. Well, there's an Oscar winner. It Chapter 2, that's September. Downton Abbey the movie, fuck off.
Yeah, that got announced last year.
Zombieland 2.
Yes!
Joker, I'm just not convinced by it.
All I care about, we're finally going to see a sequel, finally, to Zombieland 2.
Oh, yeah, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Tom Hanks plays Mr. Rogers. Here's one for you. Frozen 2.
Yeah, I knew that was happening.
Untitled Terminator movie should be apparently November. Star Wars Episode 9. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to this Terminator movie because it disregards all the other movies, so it's a direct sequel to number 2.
This might seem a bit. I'm just going to go and say it. Sod it. I'm going to say it. I actually think this upcoming Terminator film, I think it's going to utterly sink. I think it will just be a flop because there hasn't been a good Terminator film since Terminator 2. Like 3 was bad, 4 was bad, Genesis was a mess.
Well, 3 had some good parts in it. Salvation, I quite like Salvation, even though I know it's a piece of shit. Genesis was just ass.
I like the look of Salvation. I think it physically, the world looks well.
They set it in the right time period, which is now set in the past, by the way. It's set in 2018 is the film.
And I think it's also interesting about that new version of Terminator where he kind of thinks he's still a person, a human, and that. It's quite a clever concept.
Yeah, but it was fucking. The problem is, same with Genesis, it was fucking put in the trailer. So when you watched the film, you knew what was happening before the fucking film told you it was happening. You know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of that. I think that's what ruined the movie for a lot of people was that.
And same with Genesis.
You know what I mean? So same with Genesis as well. In the fucking trailer, John Connor's the Terminator. Oh right, okay. So you've destroyed the fucking plot of the film. Thanks. For that.
As long as they don't give away like they did in Genesis, I think it'll be okay. It's just I think that's what killed Genesis, the fact that they gave the plot away.
Yeah, and it killed Salvation as well because they gave the plot away of that as well. That's what I'm saying. But the thing, if done right, it would be great. It will be great. So
yeah. So I haven't really watched much of Terminator. I think the only one I've seen all the way through is actually the second one. The second one I was watching.
It's voted one of the, in fact, if not the best sequel of all time.
Yeah.
It's tied with Empire Strikes Back. It's the best sequel of all time.
Yeah, I think another sequel I remember that they said was better than the original was The Matrix Reloaded, which was good.
It was a terrible movie.
The Matrix, the very first Matrix, is the best. The sequel.
Yeah, I agree. I think the first one is the best.
I mean, what the hell were they doing with Revolution? Was it Revolution? Was the third one?
Yeah.
What the hell were they thinking?
Reloaded. Revolutions is the second one. It's Matrix Reloaded. I watched them recently, and you know what? What the fuck? But the thing is, right? They had all that hype came out about just before the film came out. You had all the Animatrix coming out, and then you had the video game came out. And if you hadn't played the video game, you had no idea what was happening with the movie, because a lot of the stuff, all the plot holes in the movie were explored in the game that I had on GameCube, I think. Right? You know,
I wish I owned one of those.
Which was. I thought it was quite a good game. I thought it was all right, but it wasn't earth-shattering in any sense of the word. But it explained quite a lot. It explained because in the Animatrix, I think the CGI one in the Animatrix had they're getting the parcel, the information to the rest of them, and that's what the video game comes in. The video game comes in, and you've got to get that parcel too.
I do remember. I have got Animatrix. Is it actually just scenes of the Matrix in animated form?
It's different interpretations from different artists, and that.
Yeah, it's different stories that all lead in. Actually, the best story of that is the history of the world.
Yeah,
how they got to where they are in the universe.
There's a couple of them stories that kind of don't make much sense, but there's some really good ones in there as well.
I remember for my 21st birthday, I got which was now. Tomorrow will be 8 years ago.
It's brilliant, really good.
I got a lot of money and went and bought a load of box sets, and I got the Lord of the Rings Blu-ray box set. I got the Back to the Future and Matrix.
Yeah, But apparently on that box set is all the plot hole points from the game, all the live action stuff they did for the game is in there.
Yeah.
So, you know. So, yeah. So there's a few films coming out this year then.
Yes, it's going to be an expensive year.
Nah, I don't know if you got a view, it's not. It's £5, isn't it?
£5 to £6.
Yeah, I am really, really, really excited for Endgame. Just really.
Well, there's nothing we can do
Who's
until May.
excited for Detective Pikachu?
Oh, Matt, yeah. Detective Pikachu is... Hang on, we've got the release date here, so we're trying to find it. Oh, the remake of Pet Sematary as well, which nobody asked for.
I'm going to go and see that, I think.
May the 10th. Actually, April is Avengers Endgame. It's April, and then the next film is May the 10th, which is Detective Pikachu.
Mm.
So yes,
I want to try and see if I can check out the original Pet Sematary before I see the remake. So I can
movie, actually. It's proper fucking Stephen King, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Which Stephen King, I like Stephen King, but he has a really good idea for his books and that, and then the ends are just like, so where did that come from? You know, for a lot of them.
Mm.
I do like Stephen King as well. I will actually fully admit that not everything he's written is actually good.
No.
Some of the stuff that he's written is generally terrible, while some of it is really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's brilliant. The book is brilliant. The original film is brilliant. The remake's brilliant. Now, in my personal opinion, is that The Shining, the book, is far better than the film.
Yeah, because Stephen King himself said it wasn't great, but I loved the movie. I thought the movie was great.
It's a good film. I mean, what's bad about it? I mean, you've got Jack Nicholson that plays the psychopath so fucking well. Yep. And then obviously you've got little is his name Charlie as well? Or Andy? It's Andy, isn't it?
What?
The little lad in Shining. It's Charlie, isn't it?
Okay, do you know what? I don't know. I don't remember.
No, because I'm trying to think.
I'm
trying to think what those two young lasses said down that hallway. I'm sure it's Charlie.
Danny.
Is it Danny?
Yeah. Come and play with us, Danny, forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
But yeah, I mean, I like The Shining. I watched it just before Christmas. So I recorded it on TV, and I was like, yeah, this is good.
Do people still do that? Record stuff on TV?
Sometimes, if it's something good.
Really?
If it's not
a thing anymore?
If it's not on Netflix and I can't find it anywhere else, then
then you go to TV and buy the physical copy.
I will get it eventually. I haven't got it yet. I need to build up my horror collection. Actually, I've barely got anything. I kind of went into a bit of a thing with horror, where I said, "Well, I've already seen it. I know what's going to happen. I don't see the point in owning it again because I already know what's going to happen." But then I kind of started just getting the ones that I really love, like the really cult classics, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason, or
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, and Halloween, the original Halloween films and such. And Pinhead, Hellraiser.
Speaking of such things, I know it's probably never going to happen, but when are we going to get a Nightmare film with the legend? Because Robert Englund has said time and time again in the last few years he wants to do one more Freddy, he wants to do one more Nightmare, and they've never ever done it.
Well, his last crack at the whip was Freddy versus Jason, and it didn't do as well as they wanted it to. I fucking love Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, I do.
That was 2003. That was
it's
15 years ago.
2005.
No, 2009. Sorry.
It's proper silly, but it's silly fun, and it is very much Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. It's that kind of area. I mean, you can see they were trying to do it. I mean, they did Alien versus Predator. Again, I fucking love that movie as well. Yeah, it's not brilliant. It's just, I mean, what are you expecting? It's Alien versus Predator. Of course, it's going to be fucking. That's all it is going to be for 90 minutes. Just them kicking the shit out of each other. But that's what you pay to fucking go see, you know? I don't care about random fucking flesh pods that I don't care. They're just there to get killed. I just want to see them get killed and the fucking Predator throw down with an alien. That's all I'm after. You know?
Yeah.
You know? That's all I want.
Let's talk about games for a bit.
Yeah, go on.
What would you like to
Have
know?
you played anything recently, John?
Recently, the last game I played was Grand Theft Auto 5 when I was just kind of like going on a rampage, killing loads of police and innocent people with cheat codes like the good old days.
Yeah.
Well,
It may sound a bit sad, but I've been playing the remastered Super Mario Bros. U on the Switch. I got it.
Cool.
I've been replaying all the Resident Evils because Resident Evil 2 is out Friday.
Do you have a pre-order, Tony? Or
Of course I fucking do.
He's been talking about it
get
on
the game, or do you buy on Amazon? Or...
Game. The reason is because we need to support our brick and mortar stores. And what else as well is I've got it all fucking planned. Monday I get paid. That's when I'm going to go get it. It's Monday. I'm off that week. So, you know, just by complete coincidence. No, it's not. I booked that week off intentionally. Actually, I saw the trailer for at E3 and I went into work and I went, I need the last week of January off. And my boss went, Resident Evil 2. I went, yes. Well, don't worry, we've put you down already. So, nice one.
See, Tony, what you just said there about supporting your brick and mortar stores, completely understand it, mate. There's one slight issue. Game, at least last time I went into Game in Town, they seem to have stopped selling PC games. So I get all my stuff off Steam.
Yeah, the PC games, it's Steam only now, I think. Unless you find them in a charity shop somewhere. Yeah,
so everything on that. Literally in the last year, everything I've bought has been digital on Steam.
It is a shame because I do like my PC games, but still, yeah, you're right. I think.
Also, rules all.
Yeah.
Not really. Just PCs have gone downward, and consoles are going that way anyway.
Xbox Master Race. Anyway, no, what I mean is,
in terms of the PC stuff, I can't really get much because hardly any games. Well, a few are formatted to Mac as well. It's only like the big online one.
Dirty Mac. Gross. But Monday I plan to go in town. I'm gonna go I'm gonna get up early as well, so I can get to game when it opens. Go ahead and go, cheers. There's my money. Thank you very much. I'm out. Then I'm gonna go to Own Bargains because their Own Bargains right opposite. Buy a lot of fucking terribly unhealthy snacks and that. Go to Greg's, get a big sandwich, and then stop off at my local shop here and get some beers. Come in, fucking close the curtains, everything, you know, and just go right. Resident Evil 2. You know, like it's 1998 again, you know?
Awesome. How am I actually
going up? My phone's going up. And
it's Carl.
All right, Carl. So no one will be able to get hold of me for about a week.
Hi-ho. Hi-ho.
I'm not long since woke up. I dozed off.
Yeah, we've got like 4 people. I think this is the most we've had in quite a while.
Isn't it?
Mm.
Oh,
have a good Christmas and New Year and all that bollocks.
Yeah, we're all right this year.
Good.
Oh, blimey, O'Reilly. Yeah, a lot better than what it were last year.
Oh, that's good.
So last year we didn't even have any fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to say Christmas and New Year, all right.
Good.
Still feeling what they call it though. You know that post-Christmas. You know, so that post-Christmas New Year. Shit, I ain't got any money. Shit, I ain't got any money.
Snap! I've got to wait till next Monday to get paid.
Yeah.
Because it's 5 weeks that I'll pay there, you know, so it's fucking bollocks.
And the things you hear, like all over the internet, like, and like when you're out and about with people, I hear saying, "Oh, you know what? I'm struggling to pay my bills, you know, for the first month of the new year because I've spent too much at Christmas."
Yeah, I mean, all my bills are paid and everything, but it's just left me out this month. You know?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what New Year is. You know, New Year's all about, oh shit, I need to pay my credit card bills and Are going to be in debt for a full year.
Well, somebody said to me the other day is January is like one giant Monday morning.
Yeah. Obviously, people are going to the sales.
Well, I mean, I'd look. I mean, the thing is that there's nothing in the sales that I wanted. You know,
No, I've noticed that this year. I think because the high street stores have, been suffering a lot. A lot of the stuff I want, I can't find in them.
It's the reason it's because of because like I said last time I was on, about supermarkets cornering the market and all this shit. What it is as well is, you've got your sale, you've got your Black Friday sale, and you've got your Cyber Monday sale, and you've got your Black Friday week sale, and you've got your sale up to Christmas sale, then you've got your Christmas sale, and you've got after Christmas sale. These are before the January sales have started. But like we've just said, that's why no one's got any money. So if you've got any sale, if you want anything in the sales, you've either got it on Black Friday or that week before Christmas.
Yeah.
Or that month before Christmas. Or there's nothing.
Well, you know what I was thinking? Yeah. You know these PlayStation Classics, they've been doing really badly.
Yeah.
Because there's hardly any decent games on. Right. For a very short time in game, they were reduced after Christmas to $49.99.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And I was going to consider getting one because for that price it's almost worth it. Because I want, the 3 games I want on it are the Metal Gear Solid, Tekken 3, and FF7, and possibly Cool Borders as well. I'd have been willing to pay that price, but I went back a week ago and it's gone back to the standard price, which is $8.99. I ain't fucking hell not paying that.
Lawrence, you're better off getting a PS2, right? You get a PS2 and trying to find these games on eBay or at a game convention or
I've probably still got a PS2 somewhere.
Yeah, so you're probably better off doing it that way.
Yeah, because it's back.
Oh yeah, actually no, I remember. When I got my Xbox 360, I gave my PS2 to my mum because she wanted something to play DVD.
Well, I was going to say you can pick up a PS2 for about 30 quid all in.
Yeah,
and you can probably get most of those games for about 5-6 quid, tenner at most.
Well, yeah, but the ones that come on the classic are like not remastered. They're like jigged up a little bit.
Yeah, and the frame rate doesn't really work because a lot of the stuff, the American version is the worst because a lot of the games that are on there, they're all PAL versions. So the PAL versions don't quite work as well as they should in on NTSC.
Yeah.
And another thing as well is the reason to get there's 2 reasons for the games. Number 1, licensing. So it's licensing, trying to get, stuff like that. Then there's the whole thing of because you got Spyro the Dragon remastered out, and they didn't want to put Spyro the Dragon on there because it might compete with the sales of that. And I'm like, well, it's all going to Sony anyway, so who gives a shit? And then number 3 is they rushed it to market for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
If they'd have kept on it a bit longer and worked on it a wee bit longer, but you can jailbreak it and put a Raspberry Pi in there or whatever, and get any ROM you want for it.
Just to let you know, Lauren, you could pick up a PS2 with a ton of games off eBay for 40 quid.
There you go.
I've actually still at my mum's. I've still got all my PS2 games. They're probably in the loft somewhere because, because I gave my mum the console after I got my PS3 and Xbox 360. She wanted something to play DVDs on in her bedroom, so I said, "Well, you can have that."
Well, the best thing about the PS2 is it can play PS1 games on it, so there's no point buying a PS1 hardware when you can just have that, and then you can play PS2 games as well.
Yeah,
which I'm going to have to get.
Yeah, well, you know the first PS3. Do you remember that first PS3 model that came out?
Yeah, the Mark
I got that. And luckily, I never had to replace it, and I could play PS1, PS2, and PS3 on it.
Yeah, because on their on the PlayStation Network at the time, you could buy PS1 games and PS2 games on it. But again,
but I could also play the discs on it as well.
But it also comes down. But it also comes down to licensing as well. A lot of the old that's why a lot of the old Xbox games and 360 games have just disappeared into obscurity because it's like, well, they've done another Mercenaries and stuff like that because of licensing and all that kind of shit. It's real weird.
What was it? Xbox, not Xbox Gold, the other thing. The thing where you can like temporarily play the old games. You can buy.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Game Pass. Yeah. You can play a lot of the 360 things on that.
Yeah, there's a few, but not a lot. Like I said, all down to licensing.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, really, but there you go. Well, that killed the conversation, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say, who else bought one of them? Got one of them PS Classic things, and within a couple of days he'd had it. What they call it, so you can just put a memory card in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can. Well, you're not supposed to, but you can. I've been told apparently that you can like get, like ROMs or something. I'm not quite sure what they are, and like somehow get them onto a storage device, and then somehow put it into the thing, and then it might or might not let you play games on it.
Yeah,
it's the same thing happening with like the SNES and that. People found ways to hack those to get all the games.
There'll always be somebody out there that'll hack and slash and put a Raspberry Pi in there, or they'll put in extra storage and extra hard drive and download all these ROMs for it. I mean, it'll happen to the N64 Classic when that comes out.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even need to have a Raspberry Pi in it, because basically all the hardware does, it's just
it's an emulator.
Yeah, it's just an emulator, and the what they call it is the games that come on it are just stored on a chip.
Yeah,
and all you got to do really is just open it up, find that memory chip. I mean, sometimes with even with the cheapo consoles that you get that are like 25 million games on one thing.
My sister got one for Christmas, thinking
she. Yeah, and you open it up, you'll just find probably a 32 gig memory card in it.
Yeah.
So it's already got a card reader, and or something like that, and then you just attach another. If it's a solid chip, you just attach a card reader to it, and off you go.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's all it needs is just you just solder on some wires for data transfer, and then cut a little hole inside a panel for you to put a card in, and that's it.
Usually, I think it's about 10 minutes. I think somebody did a video of it on YouTube. I think a 10-minute hack, I think it is. And literally, they opened it up, soldered a bit in, an SD card reader slot, and then you just put an SD card in, boom, jobs are good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, they keep bringing out these, they're not official, but there's like, Mega Drives and stuff like that. That's got what's it called? I've already fucking got it. Fusion emulator, and it's just that, and a card reader. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A little processor, a processor with a sound card, a bit of RAM, and then what they call it, a memory card, and that's it.
Yeah, you got a lot of them from China, because Ashens has reviewed a lot of them.
Yeah. It's it's like they say, you got the NES on a chip thing.
Yeah.
Which basically that's the Nintendo and Super Nintendo, which that sorted that out. But then the Mega Drive thing, you don't really need that on a like just self-contained on a chip. You can have it. Yeah. The setup is you just need to set something
on the classic Sega Mega Drive. I've got the classic Sega Mega Drive, and it's got 81 games installed on it, but they also have a cartridge slot in it, so you can buy, you can play the other games as well.
You said that's a nice.
And I just don't get. Yeah, I just don't get why they won't all do that. That's the flaw with the other ones, really.
Well, no, because they want they're hoping that the people they want the people to buy these are the people that. Oh, I remember playing that when I was a kid. Not the hardcore gamer that's going to go, right, on today's Let's Play. You know what I mean? They're after the nostalgia part of it. They want I remember I had that when I was a kid. And then, Christmas, especially, something for dads,
Yeah.
That's what a lot of them things that get bought like that get bought for dads, for Christmas gifts. Will get plugged in Christmas Day. Let's say it's a Sega one. He's going to play Streets of Rage 2.
Yeah.
Maybe first game, pretty much guaranteed he's going for Streets of Rage 2.
Yeah.
And then maybe a bit of Sonic or something like that. Boxing Day, might play it a little bit more. After that,
That's it. Just click
yeah,
under the thing, yeah.
Or somewhere, unless he is a proper, into games and stuff like that. But you get what they call it, the people actually want stuff like that. Have already sorted themselves out with some other method of playing it.
Yeah.
Well, you see, the problem I've got is I've got a working NES with most of those games. I've got a working Super Nintendo with most of those games. So for me, it's like, well, I don't need one.
Yeah.
I mean, convenience, yes, because it's about that big and it stores on 30 games. I mean, 30 Super Nintendo games is like that, on a shelf,
It's like the what they call the Spectrum one. Was it supposed to be called? Was it the Vega or whatever it was?
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
The handheld thing ended up being an absolute fucking shit show. Yeah. And all that was the final model that eventually did get sent out to people that had been waiting for fucking time for it.
That was crowdfunding, wasn't it? It was when it kickstarted.
Yeah. The actual physical version of it that people could hold in their hands was awful. Well, people I've seen that got one, you could literally hold it in your hand like this and go like that, and it would break.
Yeah.
All that was, when it came down to it, was just a box with a little LCD display, backlit LCD display, some crappy buttons that broke really easily, and Fuse, what they call emulator, the Spectrum emulator that I use, and that was it. And then you could put your games and stuff in on a memory card. It had already got some built in, but over time, the number of games that it was supposed to have had gone down and down and down, because the project was that. Well, there was that project.
Well, the other problem with that is you can get a fucking Spectrum.
Even Clive Sinclair said he didn't want anything to do with it anymore, and at that point, that was it. They knew it was going to be so much shit when it finally came out.
Well, the other side of the coin is instead of buying that and all that bollocks, you can get a Sinclair ZX Spectrum, the 128K with a built-in cassette player, right, for pennies these days. I mean, I think about 10 quid.
They don't work though. That's the problem.
Some of them don't. I mean, I sold mine and I really regret it. I mean, mine didn't work, but all it took was I just took the keyboard apart, cleaned it out, bit of solder here and there, and I think I put in a new capacitor. It fucking worked fine. So a little bit of work on it. I think 15, 20 minutes I think it took. And then and I sold it years ago and I really regret it. But the other side of the coin is you can get SD card readers for them, right? Yeah. So that you can put that makes me laugh. You can get almost every Sinclair ZX Spectrum game on a 128 kilobyte SD card, right? And you can and on an MP3 file, right? So you plug that into your computer, and the computer reads, because it reads the sound and not the magnetic tape. So you can put the MP3 on of the game going on, and there you go, your game. And it costs you about 70 quid.
Yeah. You can get the what they call it. It's like a box. And it stores it's got everything that they ever made, like Spectrum, on, and it just plugs into USB port on your PC, and it's like it's a virtual Spectrum.
Yeah.
And it uses the keyboard and whatever on the keyboard on your computer and the monitor, but everything else is contained inside the box. It's even got like a little play button and stuff like that on the box face,
Right.
That's what I say.
The thing is, though, I mean, there's ways round this sort of stuff like that. I mean, the other side of the coin is as well. It's the scalpers that have no interest in the machine, but no people want it, so they'll go to Game and Argos and everywhere else, buy as many as they can get their hands on, and then stick them up on eBay for 3 times what they're worth. And idiots out there, and I will call them idiots, will pay it, so they'll keep doing it.
they did that with Nintendo. Actually, did a really clever thing with that because the original NES Classic got scalped to fuck.
Yeah, really
And,
did.
For the Super Nintendo Classic, what they did was they went, "Oh, we're doing a run of I don't know, like however many thousand, in time for Christmas." So obviously, your scalpers went out and tried to grab as many as they could and stuff like that. And places like Amazon took to only selling them, one per customer kind of thing. Tried to stop. But then what Nintendo did was they went, they sort of waited a few weeks and then went, oh yeah, well, due to the popularity of the, of the SNES Classic, what we've actually planned to do is we're going to do another run in about a fortnight that'll come out just after Christmas, just first week of January or somewhere, and it'll be at a reduced price.
Yeah.
And then they were like, fucking all these scalpers there that paid like fucking £100 and something quid, and they sat there with boxes and boxes of classic Super Nintendos, and like, yeah. It's like, yeah, fuck off, wank.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
the same thing happened with the Hatchimals about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, I was working at the time. I was working for Argos at the time, and we were when we ran out, because I mean Argos was selling them at something like 2 for 20 quid or something like that. And when they ran out, people were shoving them on eBay for like 400 quid.
No, they weren't 20 quid.
400 quid.
They were £59.99. And I remember because we couldn't get them in Entertainer either, and because woman said to me, she went, "I've been looking on eBay and some of them are going for like 200, 300 quid." I said, "You're joking, are you?" She goes, "Oh no, seriously, yeah." I mean, not that I didn't believe this woman. I just wanted to see for myself. And I remember looking on it, I thought, you know what, I'll just put it in. And the first one that come up was 350 quid plus £75 postage and package from Bristol.
Yeah.
I went, you fucking kidding,
Yeah.
And I was saying to people, I was just like, well, wait till after Christmas, wrap it up, add it behind the couch, and just go, oh, it was here the whole time, you didn't see it. What's that about,
Yeah, it's. I remember there were people, like literally fucking killing each other to get Hatchimals.
Yeah.
12 months later, they were selling Hatchimals in fucking Poundland.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember I was working for the Entertainer over the summer last year, and yeah, they were so popular. Everyone was asking, coming in, which ones have you got? My little girl's got this, my little girl's got that. Have you got the ones that we need, that we want? And
it's crazy. I mean, as well, what makes it worse is the shows that they have on TV, like that Philip Schofield show that he did just before Christmas. It's, well, this is what the kids are after this year. This is the #1 Christmas seller. And it's shows like that make the scalpers go, oh, do you know what? Let's go on Amazon and buy as many as we can, stick them up on eBay, have the price up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but to be fair, it won't like that this year. There wasn't that. There was a few things that sold out, but there was no like mad rush, and there was nobody going, "Have you got this in? Have you got that?" No, there's none of that this year. So I think people have finally fucking, got a clue. If it sells out, oh well, never mind. I've missed out.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's when I was younger and I was wanting, the stuff like that, and it's, my nan used to try and get things for me. Like I say, I wanted a Dragon Zord, and she couldn't find one.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that. And it's just like, if they ain't got it, they ain't got it. It's like, yeah, you might have wanted it, but end of the day, if I can't find one, I can't fucking find one.
Well, I think
it's just one of them things that you have to learn in life. It's like I say, it's an important life lesson. Sometimes you just can't have everything that you want.
No, that's it.
Yeah, you try and explain that to parents, though. I mean, I go back to when I was working with Argos. The amount of parents that would come in and just be screaming at you, you don't have this in stock. It's my son's birthday tomorrow. I want this for his birthday. Why don't you have it in stock? It's like, bloody hell, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. It's like, I and Argos as a company are not responsible for the emotional well-being of your child.
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
Well, that's it.
It's like, But a lot of kids these days, because obviously there's a lot more shopping online. I think
All systems are functioning with
kids get away with a lot more because there's far easier ways for parents to get what a kid wants for their Christmas or birthday. It was like, I remember, I think it was 1997. I really wanted Millennium Falcon, the re-released version, and my parents looked everywhere. And my parents looked everywhere for one, but they just came and told me before Christmas, there might be a bit of an issue with it because we can't find it because it's been really popular. And I said, at the time, I said, oh, that's okay, because they didn't wait till for Christmas morning for me to get up, open my presents, and then be disappointed. Like they had a tantrum.
Do you know what that's called, Lawrence? That's called good parenting.
Yeah.
That's
speaking of the Millennium Falcon thing, what was it? Is it the Force Awakens one?
Yeah.
That originally came out and it was knocking on for £200, and then as it turns out, you can't even properly fit the figures in it because it scaled it down slightly. And
a terrible toy as well.
Yeah, it's crap. But the range has had them for ages, and I've been. It's like I don't often go to range, but every time I go in, I'll go and have a look, see how much they've knocked off it this time. Because it was not the Christmas just gone, the Christmas before, it was down to 80, I think it was like 89.99 or something like that.
Yeah. And
then I went in the other week, so basically an entire year's gone past, and they've got it down to about 60 summer. And I thought and it's still there with layer of dust over it.
Yeah,
it's like they've got loads on shelf, but it's just like it don't matter how much you put it down by. Nobody want. Well, first off, kiddies don't want it because it's not the latest thing.
Yeah,
and
if the collectors
don't want it because it's crap.
Well, I mean, even if you got that completionist collector, he's probably already bought it anyway.
Yeah. Probably already blown it. I mean, I did what they call it when I went into Toy Town the other week, and I got the was it Slave 1 for £10.
Oh, that's the really tiny one though.
Yeah, it's not. Well, it's not.
I'm tiny. Because we've got good stuff in there.
The problem is as well is a lot of the Star Wars stuff isn't selling.
No,
because we've got hundreds of figures, hundreds of toys at work. And it's only the hardcore collectors that are coming in and buying them. We've had figures. We've got racks and racks and racks of figures that are just not selling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I went into the entertainer, obviously, that I worked in, and they've got like this particular range of figures, like from all the films all across the franchise, and they're about like £3 something.
Yeah,
because they're trying.
The £3.33, the Force Awakens ones, the even the Black Series ones are down to £3.75.
Yeah,
right? These ones that usually retail for about £10 each.
Yeah, I think at my branch entertainer, the 3-inch Black Series figures I've already picked over because every time I go in now, all there seems to be left is clone troopers.
Yeah,
and nobody wants. Yeah, and the 6-inch figures, they've got nothing I want apart from Darth Maul. But
he's full price.
He's full price, because it's an old orange box one.
Yeah, but we had the Sand Trooper in for £11.
Or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, you can never beat the. Although when the Star Wars special editions came out in the 90s, and I probably had nearly a full collection over several years of all them figures, and most of the ships as well and stuff.
Yeah,
and they were really good quality toys.
Well, a lot of them, especially the ships, were all kind of reissues. They just reused molds.
Yeah. All the Power of the Force 2 stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Power of the Force 2 stuff had the best vehicles, but the actual figures themselves were a bit shit. Because that was the range of figures where everybody suddenly became He-Man.
Yeah, and it was real weird, and nobody looked like who they're supposed to. Even Princess Leia had that problem.
Yeah.
It was all of it.
Knowlsy, was that your dad telling you to go to bed?
No, my dad's just checking up on me, seeing what I'm doing.
You mean you're not?
I mean, about an hour ago, about half an hour ago, when I went
into porn. Is that what you're looking for?
I just gave my mum a buzz before I knew she went to bed because she was going to bring my presents over tonight because she's working in the morning. I can't go over to her. She was going to bring my presents over, but she says no. She'll just drop them by at 7:20 in the morning.
Ah,
you've got to be up at 7:20 on your birthday.
Yeah, because my mum said because my mum's normally if my mum had the day off, but she's working, so she's on the way to work. She's just going to drop the stuff in.
Oh dear!
I've got to be up early tomorrow morning because I've got work. Some of us have to go to fucking work.
Yeah.
I can't believe that you don't even get a lay in on your fucking birthday.
I always book my best.
Well, my dad's going to be coming over at 1:30, hopefully with my big prezi.
Nice.
So the next time I do one of these, I probably will be in a different area of the house. Well, the flat.
Yeah, it'd be good that Dad comes over with your big prezi and it's a box about this big.
Well, I know what it is. No, I know what it is.
It's a box about this big that when you open it up, it's like, there's like a little, like a square of metal in it. And you're like, what the fuck's this? And it's like, that's 2,000 pounds of the platinum, son.
Yeah. Right, so, I'll be straight down the jewellers and went, I want 2,000 pounds, please. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, that's the problem with Star Wars today. It's the fucking self-righteous fucking neckbeards that are out there going, oh, The Last Jedi was not what the film I wanted. Yeah, it wasn't, because it wasn't aimed at you. It was aimed at the kids of today. I didn't mind the film. I think it was all right.
I've actually sat and watched Solo.
I like Solo. I think it was all right.
I didn't. I think if I'd have sat and watched the original cut, how they wanted it to come out, I'd have been I'd have flipped my shit. But as it stands, it's not a great film, but it's not a bad film either.
Yeah. I mean,
I can understand why it performed poorly at the box office.
Oh yeah, but that's because of The Last Jedi and all the fanboys were like, well, we're not going to go see this film. Why? Yeah. If you like your franchise, fucking support it, spend money on it, go see the fucking movies. You know what I mean? Because but then again, what makes me laugh about it? He goes, "Oh, Solo was the worst film ever made." I went, "Yeah, but did you watch Phantom Menace though?"
I don't know. Yeah. It's not that bad.
Well, it's
except for Jar Jar Binks.
I still think it's the worst of the 12 films we've got now, isn't it?
Yeah, what they call it is Phantom Menace is definitely the worst of the prequel trilogy, and it's the worst of the first and second trilogies put together.
Yeah.
But if you include the films that's come out of the the latest of the new trilogy plus the side stories, Last Jedi has to be the worst. It's below Phantom Menace.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't like the Last Jedi at all, really. I can understand it. And I can understand to an extent why people get pissed off. It's the fanboys have been the ones that the fanboys were solely responsible for the creation of the Power of the Force toy line and stuff like that. Because there was no Star Wars. And for years, people wanted it, and then there's people.
Well, it was the special editions that came out, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, no, it's the Power of the Force toy line came out in about 1985, 86, and then Power of the Force 2 came out in the late 90s. In between, then fans of the original thing have written, books for the expanded, because there's Power of the Force 1 and Power of the Force 2, and. What they call it, the fans have kept it going by becoming, some of them have become authors, to material for the expanded universe and all these comics and everything that's come out. Well, and then they've done
the thing is as well. That annoyed a lot of people when they went, "Oh, well, the expanded universe is not canon anymore." Yeah, that upset a lot of people because
but the thing is, they have incorporated. I think they have bowed a little bit because of like
I mean,
I don't think.
The thing is, they've took some elements from the extended universe and made it, into the film. Because the thing is, they want to do their own thing with it, fair enough. But if you've said, if you went, oh, well, yeah, but this happens to look after the films, and then this does, and then that does, and then the Emperor comes back or whatever, you've got to incorporate that into the narrative that you're trying to do. But then, because if you went, oh, it's just stories involving those characters, his own little universe, then we can do what we want on the big screen. I mean, but this is the thing as well. I mean, I don't think it's because a lot of people got upset with Kathleen Kennedy going this, trying to make Star Wars for girls because there's them Princess Leia dolls that you can buy.
Yeah, that's probably that. The Star Wars Forces of Destiny.
Forces of Destiny.
Yeah, that's failed miserably.
It has, but do you know what? If they hadn't done the big song and dance about it, and the whole thing of the Force is female and all that kind of shit, right? It'd have done much better than it did because, you've got Force Awakens, you've got a strong female lead character. Because I don't mind Rey as a character; I think she's all right. You know what I mean? And she's a likable, relatable character. And if they just kept it, you what?
The Mary Sue.
Well, yeah, she's Mary Sue, absolutely, but still, I think if they just kept it to that line would have done much better than it did. It's just that because there are little girls out there that just love Star Wars anyway, regardless of it.
Oh yeah.
They don't need a dedicated line just for that.
No. The other thing about Forces of Destiny and to some extent Star Wars Droid Tales is they decided to make it all online only.
Yeah.
Like I say, I didn't even know that Force of Destiny had a cartoon. I just saw the toys. I was like, yeah, and then I thought, oh, what's going off here? And then I looked it up one day and it goes Star Wars Force Destiny episode something, and I'm like, episode? Look, yeah, it's online only. Yeah, online only. So a lot of people may not have known that, or
I didn't know that.
Or haven't seen. Yeah, exactly. So it's like the cartoons. It's like each episode concentrates on a different woman from the Star Wars universe. There's like an episode's about Princess Leia. There's episodes about Rey. And stuff like that. And then there's the Droid Tales as well, which is
I didn't even know that was a thing, either.
I'm not entirely sure what that is because I haven't looked it up much. But then the TV, at the minute, all it is was it Star Wars. Oh God, what is it? Is it not Star Wars Rebels? Star Wars Resistance.
Yeah.
And that is fucking awful.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, shit. I guess
because they've done the same thing what they did with Robots in Disguise after Prime. Prime looked great. The CGI was brilliant on it, and then they did that cell shaded thing.
Yeah.
And that's done. Please stop using that cell shaded thing because that's lazy animation right there.
Yeah.
They should just stop doing cell. I mean, for video games it works. Like Borderlands looks great because it's cell shaded and stuff like that. But that's a different thing altogether. But yeah, they really got to stop doing that. And I think this. But they're doing a live action series as well, which came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but
the Mandalorian series.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'm going to say called The Mandalorian. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure is what
the problem with Star Wars, though, at the present is, unlike MCU, where there are 100 different characters they can do with different powers and, and keep to their own movies and stuff like that, they've just tried too much with Star Wars too soon.
Yeah. Well, that's Disney, isn't it? They've bought the thingy and they're going to try and get as much money out of it as they can.
Yeah.
And
now, if they'd have been smart with
what they've done is they've tried to smash it, and they don't realise that it's like it's no good just shotgunning. Let's make something for everybody. I mean, basically it's it's like Force of Destiny was supposed to be for the girls, and then Droid Tales I think was supposed to be for the kiddies. And then the what they call it, like Resistance and Rebels and stuff like that. Rebels was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it was for everybody.
Rebels is a great series.
Yeah, Rebels Clone Wars was great.
I'm really looking forward to the final season of Clone Wars.
The thing is,
I do like Clone Wars.
Star Wars is for families, not just for kids. Because, I mean, you look at Star Wars as a whole now, right? You've got people of our generation who grew up with the originals have now got kids, and they're watching it with, so they're watching those movies with their kids, and their kids grew up with the prequel trilogy, right? Yeah. And it just boggles my mind. And some of those kids are now having babies as well, and so now that the new trilogy's out, they're watching those films because they grew up with the prequel trilogy, right? So it's for families. It's not just for. It shouldn't be just for boys, for girls, anyway. It's for everyone, and it should. And I think they've missed the marketing with that. But like I said earlier about they're trying too much too soon. Rogue One, with the exception of Rogue One, because I fucking love that movie. I thought it was brilliant. They just hit Star Wars bang on the fucking bullseye with that.
Yeah, because it's the real original Star Wars timeline, and
But what I mean is because don't forget, the only thing Star Wars that was out at the time, and they keep bringing figures out, Black Series or stuff like that, but the only thing Star Wars that was new was Clone Wars, because that was still on the go, and then because don't forget, 2005 was Episode 3, right?
Yeah.
So that's 14 years ago, right? So that's 14 years ago without a film. So then they went, oh, do you know what? Now that Disney have acquired thingy and they've proven successful with the Marvel Universe, stuff like that, let's do another Star Wars film. Great. The whole world was like, ooh, Force Awakens, can't wait. They should have done Force Awakens, boom, then left it 2 years, and then done Rogue One, and then done Last Jedi, instead of just going, oh, you like Star Wars? Have all this Star Wars.
Yeah, having a 6-year lineup.
It's too much, I
think Disney have learnt that harshly because of how badly the reception for The Last Jedi, and obviously Rogue One, I love Rogue One myself. But
I do. It's a great film.
It was a film again that probably didn't do very well with the main hardcore fan.
It actually did really well with the hardcore audience. The Star Wars, from what I know anyway, the hardcore Star Wars fans that bitch about everything in the last 5 years absolutely loved Rogue One, but hate everything else apart from Rogue One. I can understand it, I can, but my own personal opinion on The Last Jedi is I like The Last Jedi, and I generally haven't got a clue what all the bitchy fans are bitching about. I really don't see it.
I think the problem is lots of fans were writing things about how they thought it would turn out, and they probably didn't get what they expected.
Well, yeah, but when you're a fan writing some fan fiction or a theory, you're not employed to write a film, are you? You're just writing it because that's what you think is going to happen. The
other side of the coin of that is when the Marvel films have come out, and then people are speculating what's going to happen next, and then when those speculations are wrong, people go, well, it's not what I expected, but holy shit, that was awesome anyway. You know what I mean? So it can be done well.
Yeah, it can.
It's just that Lucasfilm doesn't seem to realise this. You can be. I mean, Empire Strikes Back will always be the best Star Wars film. And look at that movie, right? The first one is all action adventure and kind of silly and this, that, and the other. Empire Strikes Back comes along and goes, right, you know what? Let's get fucking serious now. Let's do a serious fucking Star Wars movie. And it works. And kids today even see that film for the first time and go, oh, what? And see the big spoiler. And that's what it's missing. It's missing because that's what thingy should have been. The Last Jedi should have been really dark after the first one, because you look at the first one, Force Awakens, and the Force Awakens is just a retread of the first movie.
It is. The difference is, like the characters took on roles of like the characters in the first one. Like, Rey is obviously supposed to be Luke's equivalent.
Yeah.
And Han Solo kind of took on the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, you see, that's the thing. It's the same beats as the original film does. They've got on a desert planet and all this kind of shit, and then they're attacking the Death Star again at the end, and the same kind of way they go through a trench. But one of the problems I've got with Force Awakens is there's no tension there. Because you look at the original movie, when they're attacking the Death Star, you can see the tension racking up, and the countdown going on, and the Rebel base will be in range in 5 minutes, all that sort of stuff, and all that shit's going on at the same time. There's tension there. There's no tension in Force Awakens.
Exactly. But what I was was thinking of saying was, like the YouTube channel Star Wars Theory.
Oh, Star Wars Explained. Is that the one?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I was watching that just after I saw The Force Awakens, and the guy was like going all these theories for what Episode 8 would be, and some of the things he suggested I thought were very almost ludicrous. Like they bring in, I mean, they mention the Sith and the Empire in The Force Awakens. They have references to the prequels as well. But one thing I heard is he thought the Born of the Midichlorians, like Anakin was going to be his reincarnation, and I thought, no, they're not going to do that. It's, I mean,
I think as well is, I think what they're trying to do is distance themselves away from George Lucas. And you look at those movies, and you can see that George has got nothing to do with them, and he can tell. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want about George Lucas. Visually, he knows how to tell a story. Dialogue-wise, fucking, I hate sand. Come on, that's shite. You know? So if you had somebody like Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire Strikes Back, who wrote Phantom Menace, Force Awakens, the dialogue's there, but there's the lack of, George's presence is missing, and you can feel it when you watch those movies.
There are rumours flying around that George Lucas might be coming on board to direct a spin-off.
No, he's sold it. He's got nothing he can do now to influence it. I mean, he could buy it back, but Disney aren't going to let him do that. But
I mean, originally, I think they're going to bring J.J. Abrams back to do Episode 9.
Yeah,
I think I heard. Oh yeah, because I heard at one point I thought he'd step down again, but
no, he's coming back because whoever did the last one, I can't remember who did the last one now, just fucked it up. But the thing is, after Episode 9, they should fucking rein it in and just not give us anything for at least a couple of years.
I really hope they do series, fine, straight away with the pre-trilogy.
I don't want to see another movie for at least a couple of years because.
No, I agree.
Because they can just keep churning these out so much so that people will lose interest, and people are losing interest now. And Episode 9 isn't even out yet. So, I mean,
because the original plan from Disney was to have a Star Wars film every year. That's why they were doing, the side stories. There was Solo came out, and then for 2019 it was supposed to be Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And then after that, Obi-Wan, followed by the Star Wars episode, was it 10? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the idea, and because of the problems caused by Last Jedi, the appalling box office and the backlash that led to Solo being, fucking not do half as well as what they wanted it to do.
Yeah.
That's why they abandoned plans for the Boba Fett film, because they were like, we don't want to get, a kick up arse again, because it's like they say there, it's to put together both Last Jedi and Solo haven't got back half as much money as they needed to be able to make it worthwhile to make another film.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like you get people go, oh yeah, but it's made its money back. It's like, yeah, the problem is when people say that about films, and went, oh yeah, it's like, the fucking Ghostbusters made its money back, but you won't be seeing another Ghostbusters film directed by Paul Feig.
No,
because it's like, yeah, it made its money back, but the idea is to make profit.
Yeah.
If you make him, and bear in mind as well, when they get all the money together that they've got from one film, a lot of it has to be paid out before they can even, decide how much they've got left. It's like you've got payments for distribution and payments for this, that, and whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, so that's why there won't be another one. That's why Ivan Reitman's son doing another Ghostbusters film, because he can do better, and he knows to get some money in, and probably because he won't take to fucking Twitter like Paul Feig did to call everybody fucking rapists or whatever, And that's the thing. It's like Disney's just sort of kind of realised this with Star Wars. It's like, you can't just throw any old crap and expect people to go and watch it. It's like, say, they do the films, and then a lot of the money from Star Wars comes from the merchandising.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like people don't want to.
Because
If people go and see the film, they're not going to go and buy the Han Solo figure, are they? You know, it's
because Hasbro have noticed that there has been a massive slump in the sale of Star Wars figures, and because of all this, too much too soon shit, and crap films and stuff like that, and because they're under the assumption that kids are buying these figures, and to be honest, it's the fanboys that are buying the figures.
Yeah.
The fanboys
it's a case of crap films and are making far too many figures of characters that nobody gives two fucks about.
Yeah, I mean,
like I said, the Force Awakens line has what's the figure? Is it Constable Zuvio, a character that didn't even appear in the fucking film, and they made
there's a Black Series figure of him as well.
Yeah, both 3-inch and 6-inch figures of him. Nobody wants them because nobody gives a fuck. The collectors will collect the entire line, will buy one, and it'll stay in the box.
Yeah,
You've got the what's the other character? The one that's got she looks like a grey alien with a big head, and she's got like glasses on. And that's where they get the thing he gives them the lightsaber.
Oh, Masquerade.
Yeah, that's it. Nobody wants a figure of her. She's crap.
Yeah.
Same as with the Rogue One set. They've done figures of the guy with the minigun and the blind karate guy and stuff like. Nobody wants figures of him. Well, it's stuff like that. And it's like I say, you go in on bargains, and they've still got all their Star Wars stuff up on the shelves.
Well, you see, I mean, Darth Vader. Every time Darth Vader figure, everybody will buy Darth Vader because he's the most bankable, recognisable thing. Stormtroopers as well, but original Stormtroopers, yes. OG Stormtroopers, no. The Force Awakens ones, no.
No, I don't mind them personally. It's they're all right. It's clone troopers that people tend not to bother with.
Yeah, but
because they.
But like I said, it's when they do these figures though. I mean, there's a guy comes in the shop regular and he buys the whole line. He'll get the whole line straight away. As soon as the box comes in, he'll buy the whole box.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's a collector and he loves Star Wars, that's fine. That's where the money's coming from. That's where because I've not since all of Christmas, hardly anybody, apart from the fans that come in regular, have bought Star Wars. No kids buy Star Wars. All the kids buy nowadays is Fortnite, and the girls buy LOLs, the LOL dolls. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? I've not seen a kid buy a Transformer in a while. It's just fans that buy them. I've not seen... I mean, the most popular things we do in our shop now is anything Fortnite, Funko Pops, and LOL dolls. But even the Star Wars Funko Pops don't sell very well.
No.
We've had in the droid, there's R2-D2 and C-3PO crash scene, from episode 4 with the skateboard in the background, diorama set. It's $29.99. We got 12 in. We sold 3, I think.
Yeah.
But Marvel ones sell out. Disney ones sell out. Anything geeky related sells out. So like Power Ranger ones are doing well because we've got in the movie ones, which but the OG ones selling out fairly quickly. They've got even the 66 Batman ones are doing better than Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I've seen that because I see what people buy. And it's only, like I say, it's only the hardcore collectors that will come in and buy the Star Wars one.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame, really, because you've gone from a super powerhouse of Star Wars to nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah.
Because there's a great website, a YouTube channel, I can't remember what it's called now, though. But there's a guy who goes around like America's version of B&M. I think is it Big Lots, I think, something like that.
Well, there's loads. There's like, there's Big Lots, there's Arby's, there's Dollar Tree.
That's it, yeah. So he goes around with all these, and he just shows you how much Star Wars stuff he's just sat there unsold. I mean, granted, a lot of it is ex-Toys R Us stock, but he went around Toys R Us as one was closing here, and all the aisles are picked clean, and everybody's bought everything except the Star Wars is fully stocked.
Yeah,
and it's a shame.
It's like with the Lego as well. It's I noticed all of a sudden B&M seems to be well stocked on Lego stuff.
Yeah.
You could almost see the Toys R Us stickers still, sort of still on the box somewhere.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's a shame, really. But the thing is, kids today aren't interested in toys. It's people like us who buy toys.
No.
I mean, look,
It's all gadgets.
Funko Thanos,
Anything
behind
they
me,
want,
masterpiece.
a video screen on it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they want. But the only toys that we do sell regularly is the LOL dolls because the little girls absolutely love them. But because of YouTube is why they get them, because people do channels of them opening them up because it's like a blind thing. So you open it up, don't know what you get inside until you open it up, and people do that on YouTube. And because people are doing that on YouTube, makes them go out and buy it. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's how the whole fidget thing took off a few years ago. How they became popular, I think it started with people, buying them and doing videos of them.
It's been a craze lasted 6 months.
If that, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, show me where you can buy
every YouTuber was doing videos on them because they knew they'd get, loads and loads of views just because it was a video related to the fidget spinner.
Thing is though as well, show me where you can buy a fidget spinner now.
Only place.
Well, the entertainment at the moment has to.
Not in my entertainer, they don't have any of them. None.
In
Leicester store they did. They're on the demo table. They're selling them for like $3.50.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's quite a few
they had Transformer ones in B&M for like 50p, I think it was.
Yeah.
They're selling some in the works as well near us.
But it's just, like I said, I mean,
Red 5 still, whatever Red 5 is called now, they've still got them in. I see they've got all the fidget gadgets.
See, the thing is, like I said, the Marvel movies are going to be raking in money for a lot of years to come because there's some still great characters out there they haven't touched on yet, right? So Disney and are going to sit there going, well, we've got money coming in anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So I think the best advice that I could give Disney is release episode 9 and then just let it fucking be quiet for a couple of years. Do the TV shows and then just that's it. Just no more Star Wars for a while.
I'd say, I mean, I don't know what you think, but the way I look at it is after episode 9, which is obviously December this year, once that's done, I think they should literally let Star Wars rest for 5 years.
Yeah, easy.
5 years, don't do anything, and then bring it back.
It'd be funny if was in 2020 they did another Star Wars holiday special.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. See, I mean, it shows you. I mean, it's not like a new thing. I mean, too much Star Wars can be a bad thing. And plus, Mark Hamill.
Well, too much of anything can be a bad thing. I mean, if you look at,
but saying
all
that,
the crazy.
Saying that,
we remember
Marvel movies. I mean, there's at least 3 a year, and nobody's getting tired of them. But
no,
like I said, but like the comics though, there are hundreds of characters that that you can do different movies with because they've got different powers and different characters and all that, and different origin stories and stuff. So they could carry on with that till the fucking cows come home, and people will still go see them. But Star Wars, unless you're planning to do more standalone stuff, there's no traction in it. Because the story's been done. That's why I think Lucas didn't want to do 8, 9, and 7, 8, and 9 because he felt like the story was done. And just
But also, he did say a part of the reason was because of the such from the prequels, which isn't surprising given how bad they were.
I mean, but there are some redeeming qualities in them, but still, it's just...
Episode 3 is somewhat good, despite the fact that terrible dialogue.
Apart from the dialogue, that's where the prequels should have started from. They should have been... Because that 20-minute thing where you've got Obi-Wan and Anakin in the fighters shooting at droids and stuff like that, and then they get into the ship and doing the whole lightsaber thing and trying to rescue Palpatine. I'd have had a whole film of that. That was great. But I mean, it's like the whole thing of what really annoys me is them fucking buzz droids. You know, why build a droid?
Oh yeah.
Designed...
R2, hit the bus droid center eye.
Yeah. So why spend all that money? Right. I mean, I'm looking at in-universe thingy for it. So I spend all that money developing a droid that when you shoot a missile out, it then separates from its missile, lands on a ship, and then dismantles the ship. Why don't you just build a bigger missile that makes the ship go boom? You know? Then you're not having to spend hours programming the fucking thing, you know, building it, and then having a
bigger missile wouldn't make it such a point itself, would it? So that's probably why, you know, having a kind of, you know, dumb-looking, silly robot is,
you know, I mean,
probably a better sport.
I mean, those movies are designed to sell toys. I mean, you know, it does work. You know, because that's what the summer blockbuster started from was Star Wars, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, Star Wars was the original.
And the whole merchandising thing is all Star Wars, you know. And it's just a sign of the times, unfortunately, isn't it? Which is a shame, really.
I mean, plus the what they call it, Star Wars invented the 3-inch action figure anyway.
Yeah.
Because there weren't anyone about. Because the story goes, the guy who was in charge of merchandising, Kenner or whatever it was, you know, they said like, you know, we've got these Star Wars figures, and he'd been and seen the film, and he was like, you know, yeah. And they went, well, what do you want us to do? And at the time, it was like Mego were producing, you know, like figures like that. And same with like, you know, like G.I. Joe and Action Man, all figures were like that. And then you get these other sort of slightly smaller ones that were just basically the same as Mego. And then he went, how about we just have a plastic action figure about this big? Yeah. And then somebody got a tape measure and measured that, and they went, oh yeah, that's about 3.5 inches. So that's what they did it to.
Yep.
And then the other companies like Mego started making their own, you know, 3.5-inch figures that were crap.
I think that the idea was as well is because if you like Star Wars, there's so many characters in that movie, like Stormtroopers and stuff like that. And if you're doing figures this big, which they still do now, it's hard to have all the cast and expensive to have them this big, stood on a shelf or play with, and they're quite hard to play with. Whereas if you've got figures this big, kids can put them in the pockets, they can put them in a case, they can take them to the grandparents' house, take them around the friend's house, you know, and you could put, you know, Millennium Falcon, you could put like 20 figures in the back and carry it to your mate's house and go, oh, let's play Star Wars, you know? Like I used to do when I was a kid, you know? And and there were pocket money priced as well, except obviously back in the day, they didn't realise Star Wars was going to be as big as it was, and oops, we didn't make the figures in time. So, you know,
well, that's it. The first set to come out, what was it? You could
empty box.
You could buy that box set thing, and it was you paid like, you know, I think it was like 75 quid to start with, and all you got was like a display stand with a cardboard background. And
that's
then and then you'd get, they'd send you the figures as they came out, you know. So you got like entire first series of figures that you just put onto the display stand, and out it come. That wasn't a bad idea. It's, mind you, they still do it to this day. It's just that it's usually a lot more expensive and a lot more ham-fisted.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm playing Resident Evil 4 as well. You know, it's you're never going to know what film's going to be a hit. You can't. There's no way. And then they bring out the figures usually about 2 months before a film comes out.
Yeah.
Right. So then the film comes out, and then if it does great, people will come and buy the toys. But they don't do that now. They did 10, 15 years ago, but they don't do that now.
No. You've got to have the toys in shops at least a week before the film comes out, or at the very least, you know, when the film comes out, so that, you know, you can whet people's appetites and get the, like, you know, oh man, I want to go see whatever, and you know, and I want this action figure, and I want to go see film, and then go, all right, you know.
Well, the other thing as well is I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it in our shop as well. When the latest film's out, they don't have the window display with all the latest stuff in it.
No.
And it just, I never understood that. Why, like, for example, the Lego movie's out, we haven't got anything Lego in the window. We've got LOLs and we've got like Funko Pops and a few bits and pieces in the window. And it's just that's like, well,
that's probably because they're the most what they call it lines. They're the most successful lines at the current.
Yeah, absolutely.
The idea is that because they're popular at the minute, they'd rather advertise, "We've got this stuff that you want now," rather than "We've got this stuff that you might want tomorrow." And
no. What I mean is when the movie comes out, like say the week it comes out, have the shit in the window, right?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. Because we don't do it. Like you say, we have the popular stuff in, what's selling well that goes in the window. I get that too. But we've got two windows. One window could be the popular stuff, and the other window could be used for advertising stuff. You know, like when the latest films are.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they don't do that. But then again, you don't see it anywhere now. I mean, a few years ago, you used to see Star Wars posters everywhere. You know, they're on side of buses, they're on fucking, marquees everywhere, going the latest Star Wars stuff, and you would see advertising everywhere. They don't advertise anything now.
Well, I remember back when I was a kid, like back in the 90s, Toys R Us, whenever the next big film came out, the big family film, Toys R Us would always have in the shop a massive displays for the films, all the toys out. And that, as you say, that's not being done anymore. They don't advertise the toys for the new thing. They just advertise what's popular on Facebook or what's popular on YouTube.
Yeah, what's trending,
Yeah.
I'm going to say I can remember going into the Doncaster branch of Toys R Us, and basically you'd go in the front door and you'd have to turn right as soon as you went in, go into the shop. And the very first thing you'd see, and I can remember they had a massive Transformers thing set up, when stuff come out. But they kind of dropped the bollock a bit, because it's like even up to when they were closing, the Transformers section of the shop still had the signage up for fucking Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah.
And they still actually had Revenge of the Fallen stuff on the fucking pegs, and it's just like, give it up, you're not selling it.
Yeah, because a lot of the time, especially companies like that, don't realise Transformers are popular, but people want the new stuff. They don't want like stuff that's 5 years old.
Yeah.
Unless you're a collector and I want that one, as part of my collection,
Yeah.
And you can see it happening. You can see it in front of you,
Yeah. I mean, I can remember it was not. I think it was about 2 or 3 Christmases ago, and they went. Toys R Us are going to be getting, figure arts stuff in and things like that. Like they were going to be getting Kamen Rider and Dragon Ball Z figure arts. And I was like, nice one. And I went to the Toys R Us. And I was looking around, and I'm like, well, where have they put it then? And I eventually found it, and it was a shelf, and it was literally just a small shelf unit with what were on it? Oh, they got, I think, some stuff from like Death Note that was sat there, and it was like 75 quid.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, like some Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, and I'm like, well, that's going to really sell, innit?
Yeah,
and I was thinking, I've never seen any Kamen Rider stuff in any major chains in the UK, because I don't think it's sold. I've seen occasionally. I've seen it.
The thing is as well, people outside of Japan, apart from us nerds, won't know what Kamen Rider is.
Yeah.
Right. That's your problem, right there. Unless you know what it is, nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. Like the average person on the street isn't. If you go and ask 10 people down the road. Every say, excuse me, can you tell me what Kamen Rider is? Everybody go, don't know. But you ask any of us, oh well, yeah, it's like Power Rangers. He's got a bike, he's got a belt that changes into an alien. He can shoot, fights monsters and stuff. That's your other problem. Is parents. Let's use the word very loosely. Parents don't know what toys are. Because I see it over Christmas, they go, well, I don't know what he likes. I don't know what he's into. And then they go, oh, he loves Spider-Man, but he's got a Spider-Man. He got any villains? And I go, yeah, well, we've got Venom, we've got Carnage, we've got Vulture. We won't know who those guys are. Well, yeah, he will. If you like Spider-Man, you'll know exactly who they are.
They'll know what it is, yeah.
Because they don't know who it is, they're not buying it.
Yeah. Or there's the worst ones where they actually bring the kids to pick out presents. And this is one of the things that really fucking annoys me. When the people bring the kids to toy shops and say, right, what do you want and stuff like that, and kids are pointing at things that they want, and parents are going, oh no, you don't want that. No, you don't. It's like, well, obviously they fucking do, otherwise they wouldn't be pointing at it. Or the even worst ones, when after Christmas I went to Entertainer, And there was a plethora of parents in there with their kids, obviously spending the money they've got for Christmas, and they were telling the kids they couldn't have stuff. You know, it's like, you know, like young. I seen one in a young and went, "How much have you got?" And she says £20. So he went, "All right," and he went and had a look at some. It was some Star Wars stuff, I think, oddly enough, and he was only a little lad.
Yeah.
And he's like looking at these, and he picked up, I think it was one of the, you know, one of the small boxed, you know, like with a speeder in or something like that, speeder bike.
Which
and it was only, I think it was only like a tenner or something like that. And he says, "Oh, I want this," and she's like, "No, you don't want that."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but it's his money. If he wants to buy a speeder, then he can buy a speeder. And then she's like, "No, oh, save your money for later," because my nan used to do that.
Yeah, man, I think all parents do. It's because
save your money for later.
Because whenever you want something your parents think is rubbish, they'd always say, "Oh, save your money until you find something you want."
Or they come in the shop, right? They go, like what Carl said. "Oh, you don't want that. Let's go to Tesco and see what they've got." Well, because it's Tesco right opposite. Well, okay, but you've brought them into a dedicated toy shop.
Yeah.
Let them look around for 10 minutes, and then now you go into another shop because the parent wants them to go do the fucking week shopping.
Yeah.
Right? And so that kid who's come into the shop, who's got 50 quid to spend, and you know, I always see if they come into the shop and the kid comes to me and they go, because I always go, "Oh, what are you looking for?" And I always point them in the right direction and that, you know, not, you know, trying to sell them anything. And because people go, "Just looking." I said, "No, if you're just looking for something particular, I'll show you where it was in the shop. That's all."
Yeah.
And the kids come in and go, "I've got some money to spend." "Oh, have you? Brilliant. What do you like?" And they go, "Well, I like Power Rangers." "Brilliant. Come and follow me this way. Here's where the Power Ranger stuff is." You know, and then you can see the mums going, "Oh, God's sake." You know, it's like, well, why bring him in this toy shop if you're not going to let him spend it?
Yeah. Yeah. Or the worst one is when you bring the kids to the toy shop with absolutely no intention of buying them anything whatsoever. Yeah. It's just like, it's like showing a fucking steak to a starving dog.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's
like, like we can go in, we can have a look today. Before you go in, they say, "Right, you can't have anything." Then the kids see something they want, and then they say, "Oh, please," and they have this massive tantrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, the parents must know the kids are going to start asking for stuff, whether they can have anything or not. And it's like,
of course they are. It's just natural.
Yeah.
I mean, my mum used to take us to, you know, like Woolies and stuff like that. But she'd go in for
yeah.
You know, and she'd go in for other stuff, and then we'd go, "Can we go look at the toys?" "Yeah, go and have a look." And then occasionally we might go, "Oh, Mum, can you buy us this?" And my mum sometimes might go, "Oh, I've got an extra tenner in my pocket." "Yeah, sure." Or, "No, you're not having it, put it back." That's different, you know. But when, like I said, when you bring a kid into the shop and then go, "Oh, no, you can't have," what's the point?
Yeah.
You know?
It should be fucking child abuse. So.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then the kids...
I mean, it's like that. I mean, it's like my nan used to do that all the time. You know, it'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to save up my pocket money and I'm going to get, you know, this or whatever." And I'd start saving my pocket money up and I'd get enough for it. You know, I'll be saving up for, you know, fucking weeks or months or whatever. And then we'd go to town and I'd go to buy it and I'd be there, like, you know, in the shop or in Argos or wherever it was that I was going. And I'd be, you know, literally seconds away from, you know, catharsis.
Yeah.
And then it'd start, "Oh, save your money.
Yeah.
Save your money for a rainy day." It's like, wow, what am I going to do on a fucking rainy day?
Yeah, I'm a kid. What am I going to spend my money on? You know.
Yeah, it's, you know, like that. And then next thing, it's like, you know, if because she sometimes managed to fucking dissuade me from buying something. And then next thing we'd be going in shops and looking at like women's clothes and stuff, and it'd be like, "Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Oh, but I ain't got enough money to get it. If only I had £20. Yeah. It's like, well, it's funny because I've got £20 in my pocket.
Yes, it's like, that must be torture for the kids, and the kids learn that example, like, you know, the parents going into shops and then they randomly see something they want. They end up buying a few extra things to treat themselves.
Yeah.
And when I saw my parents doing that, I was always like, "Mum, that ain't fair. You're buying stuff for you. You're just randomly picking out stuff. Why don't I get something?"
I tell you what, always used to unwind me up is when you've gone round shopping with your mum and you've been around town, you've been around every shop, and like Carl said, you've been into every women's clothes shop. She's trying on shoes, trying on a different white shirt, and trying to tell the difference between 5 different white shirts, but they're all white shirts. And then you go, "Can we go in my shop?" And then you walk in, you're in 2 seconds. "Come on, hurry up! I've got things to do." And you spent 5 hours looking at a fucking white shirt.
Yeah. My nan used to be digging for that because it's literally every time we went to town, you guaranteed that we would spend at least an hour in. There was 2 wool shops and about half a dozen shoe shops. You could guarantee you'd spend at least an hour in each one. And when I wanted to go to Woolworths, we'd go in Woolworths, and all of a sudden my nan would start complaining about how warm it was in Woolworths.
Yeah. Come on, hurry up! I want to go. I've got things to do this afternoon. Yeah.
Looking at the worst one was she used to look at settees, and we'd go in shops and she'd be stood there looking at settees, going on. I mean, at this age, I'm like, fucking 7 or 8, and I can remember fucking snapping ones because I was bored, wet, because I'd been pissing it down outside, and I was, bored, wet, and pissed off. And she's going on about these settees and how nice they are. I just said, "Well, can you afford one?" And she's mean, and I says, "Can you afford one?" She went, "No." I goes, "Well, stop looking at fucking settees, and if you can't afford it, you can't have it." And I was only about fucking like 8 or 9 or something like that. I was fucking. I mean, I got up on a Saturday morning, and I was, watching, fucking Motormouth or What's Up Doc or whatever it was that was on, cartoon. Then I got dragged to fucking town.
Yeah.
Pissed through. Bored, tired, hungry because I've been in town from about fucking 9:30 in the morning, and just to go around looking at women's clothes, shoes, and fucking settees.
Yeah.
And then basically I know what she'd do then is she'd want to call in Sainsbury's because for some reason she had this thing about, we did as local shopping at what used to be called low cost supermarket. Whether you're old enough to remember that, anybody, but we used to have a local supermarket called low cost. We used to do all the shopping there.
We had Brandways.
Except when we went to town, because for some reason she always used to like to go to town and buy things, just stuff that you could get from low cost, but she'd want to buy them at Sainsbury's, where it costs twice as much, and for some reason I don't know why, and then it'd be up to me to carry that stuff home, and it's just like when that's coming, and then it's like settees, then we'll go to fucking Sainsbury's. She'll buy a load of everything, and I'll have to carry it home in that stupid fucking shopping bag that only goes over one shoulder.
Yeah.
I can't carry it in my hand because the strap's too long for me to be able to carry it so that I can just carry it in my hand at my side. So I have to put it on my shoulder, and it's because of how, I'm not like fully grown adult. It don't sit properly on my shoulder and everything. And then sit on a fucking bus for 45 fucking minutes, and then walk from to home, it pissing down rain to get home, and it be fucking basically tea time by the time we get home on Saturday. And it's like, and it's just, I think it was that one moment there when I just said there, like, if you can't fucking afford it, you can't have it.
Yeah.
And I snapped. I think that's the first time I proper snapped back because I'm fucking sick of it.
That's it. Right, boys. My battery in my phone is about to die any second, so I'm going to bow out. And plus, I've got work in the morning, so I'm going to get off, and I'll speak to you all later. All right, see you later.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Yes, Carl, would you like to presume to rip us to pieces?
What?
Would you like to presume to rip all 3 of us to pieces?
Well, what pony shit have you been buying?
I just said that because I knew you'd respond like that. I haven't bought anything pony related recently. Lawrence, I believe you have.
Yes, I got a couple of things on Friday.
Yeah, and then you got arrested for indecent exposure. Well, I'm going to have to nip away for a bit anyway, because suddenly I'm getting rumblings in my tummy, and I think it's time for that. So I will nip away, and I might come back depending on how long it takes and whether you're still here when I get back.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, see you in a bit.
All right, see you in a bit.
In a bit.
Mindy, would you like to join the conversation?
Oh, you got a Mindy Puss.
She's sat here licking herself of her, doing a weird cat yoga.
Yeah.
I love that episode of Family Guy where it's just kind of, cats are really weird. And he kind of
Yeah,
like
just excuse
goes
me, guys, I'm gonna-
to that thing, and it's just like this cat's just like, yeah, bitch, you can't do that, can you? It's just kind of this cat with its leg right up. Yeah. There's one thing I've been really getting into lately. I know I kind of mentioned it. Where's Lawrence gone? Has he shrunk? I think he's shrunk. There's one thing I am been getting really into this past week, probably. I've been really getting into watching stuff, mainly just like anything to do with Japan. Not like NHK World where it's like imagination and stuff like that about anime and manga. I'm not on about that stuff, but it's just like all of a sudden I'm starting to watch all these random YouTubers that blog and vlog the stuff in Japan, like the everyday stuff of like how to live in Japan, what housing costs, how much to how much it. I don't know why, but I've gotten really into that stuff at the minute. And I'm currently I know I mentioned this to you last time when we was out. You came round, but there's a young lass. She's only 20, I think 24. She's a little bit younger than me. But she's been living in Japan now for about 2 years, just over 2 years. And basically, she went over. She basically just went to Japan. She literally she's from Australia. And she pretty much started to do like kind of like doing a bit of modeling and then kind of teaching English to people kind of in a spare time for extra cash. And her YouTube channel has bloody exploded. She's really popular. She's got a lot of subscribers, and obviously she has royalties, money coming from her YouTube videos as well. So, and now she works for a company called Tokyo Creative that is basically like a digital media type deal, and it kind of goes into travel in Japan. It goes into topical stuff. They also vlog stuff. They also do podcasting stuff. And it also, what's interesting is it's all run by pretty much all non-Japanese people. They're all foreigners. So you've got people that are like half Japanese, half American, or half Canadian, half Chinese, or
What's that?
British. No, I was just saying to Sal, I'm getting I've been watching a lot of YouTubers at the minute, basically that live in Japan and work in Japan, and they're obviously from the UK or from Australia or whatever. Or there could be like half and half, where there can be like mixture of Japanese and American or whatever. And basically, I've been watching a lass called Tokidoki Traveler, or Emma, whatever she's called, and basically just been watching her stuff, and I've just been fascinated with kind of this like bird on the wall kind of sense of how life is like in Japan. And what everyday life is
right,
like,
guys,
and stuff.
head downstairs for a minute. I'm just going to head downstairs for a minute because I'll be back up in a moment. Would we be all right to go just after 12? To call it after 12, we'll do it for another half an hour or so.
No worries, I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean,
I've just got something in the
microwave.
But,
I know, right? I hope it's popcorn.
No, it ain't popcorn.
Like I said, so I've been watching on YouTube a lot of recently, and it may seem like a really weird thing to be into, but I've been wanting to try one for a while. Now that I actually know where I can buy them from, I'm going to give it a shot sometime. But I've been watching. It turns out there's actually a collector's thing for this. People actually collect these things and actually treat them like you would, say, Transformers. They collect them through ages and like catalogs and stuff like that. But basically, I've been watching this guy on YouTube who reviews ration packs,
right?
And like military ration packs from like all over the world, like different countries and things like that. And it's really interesting because just some of the quality of meals that you get in these some of these ration packs. I mean, like the French ones, they're probably some of the best on the planet. It's just really weird. It's a really weird thing, but I've been watching them quite a lot recently because I've been wanting to try some of these military ration packs for a couple of years, and I know where you can buy them from now, so I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, the beautiful thing about YouTube is you got loads of different content and stuff that's quite original and quite unique. I mean, I kind of wish that I'd come up with a really unique concept to kind of set me apart from a lot of YouTubers, but unfortunately, I like a lot of things everyone else likes, unfortunately. But that's life. But no, I mean, like I said, with this lass called Emma, you know, she's you know, for such a pretty young lass, she's really done quite well for herself. You know, she basically she was just a student. She was a student in Australia, and she did an acting degree. And upon finishing uni, she then decided to move from Australia, where she lived with her mum or her parents or whatever. She decided to leave Australia and move to Japan, which was like a big undertaking for her because it's like the first time she's actually thought about getting her own place and actually live away from her parents, and for quite a long distance as well. So she basically, what's interesting about this lass is she's just her videos are very simple. She's very a bit like my videos that I do when I vlog, where I'm very honest and I kind of talk about shit that's going on at the moment and kind of talk about stuff that's more topical and actually has a meaning behind making the video, etc. And she has a very similar style to how I do videos, where it's very simple, but yet people can have, you know, people kind of perceive it how they want to perceive it. But yeah, I mean, she's doing really well for herself. She, like I said, she also works for a company called Tokyo Creative. But there's another YouTuber called what's his name? It's called Chris Broad or Broad. No, Chris Broad. That's it. And he's from the UK, and he's been in Japan for about 3 or 4 years nearly. And he came over on the JET program, which is basically international teaching. Basically, kind of like people from America or people from Japan kind of apply to become a teacher in Japan, and it's kind of this company that kind of bridges the gap of bringing people to Japan to work as a teacher and so on. And that's how he got to Japan. That was his story. Would come over on the JET program, and then kind of did teaching in English in a small countryside town place. I can't remember where he lived now, but he had his own little apartment flat thing as well. Had his own place, and then he moved somewhere else. And then his YouTube channel started to get pretty popular, and he started earning money through his YouTube channel. Now he's over 1 million subscribers, and he also works for Tokyo Creative. He kind of helps promote them, and he also kind of basically goes places with them, travels around and documents it and everything. You know, there's him, and there's also this lass called Emma, and I've just been absolutely transfixed for the past week, just watching stuff about these everyday normal people like you and me. But it's just because obviously, I mean, I really want to go to Japan. I've been wanting to go to Japan for about 15 years. I just really want to go, not mainly one part of it is because I'm such a fan of anime in Japan, anime, manga, video games, which big majority of those things come from Japan. But I'm also very, what can I say? I'm just kind of interested of how life as in general works because of what I've been hearing. And I don't really think too much about what the media thinks because they twist things that aren't quite true. But there's a lot of things where obviously it's very, what I've read is that it's very, very tough life for people in Japan, especially in education when they're going to school and college. There's a lot riding on these young kids' shoulders. And I find it quite interesting that the thing is, the Japanese school system is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, you know, what's depicted in anime and manga is a load of baloney because obviously it's all fantasy. But it is based a little bit on how the Japanese school system works, a little bit, ever so slightly. Basically, how schools are situated and how they're built and how, you know, things like that. There's a little bit of truth to how they're depicted in anime and manga, but the it's just amazing. Like, they teach kids from a very young age at like preschool or what was like primary school for us or nursery. They teach kids how to respect the classroom. They teach kids how to respect one another and clean the school and like they do little chore things around the school, and it teaches them later on in life as they carry on through high school and that how to be a respectable person and how to respect things such as respect people, respect your elders, respect your parents, respect the school, respect yourselves. And it's I love that about Japanese schooling. And there's not many places around that do that because they find it's wrong to make kids do things like that, like work and clean the school, because some people think it's wrong. And in the West or in Britain or in America, well, I don't know about America. I think America sometimes have where maybe somebody in the classroom is picked. Maybe it could be like one person or maybe a couple of people a different person. I think how it works in Japan, in America, say if somebody, have you heard of eraser duty and things like that?
Yes.
They do that in America, where basically you just have to stay behind after school and just go like this with your erasers, which is amazing.
I don't think you really do that anymore, because if you think about it, in this day and age, blackboard isn't even a thing anymore. I mean, every school now probably has electronic boards. I mean, don't forget, mate, if you think back to us at high school, like the last 2 years of high school, we pretty much ditched blackboards and they bought in those electronic boards that were basically computer screens that had projectors fitted to them, and you could, interact with them and bring up images and stuff like that, and they could be tied into the teachers' computers.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the classrooms started getting those fitted in. So I'd be very surprised if the blackboard's even a thing anymore. And I mean, there might well be some schools that still have them, but I think most schools now would all be digital.
I think for the most part there will be digital whiteboards, or they will have whiteboards instead of blackboards, because they became a thing, like these big massive whiteboards with the pens and the chalk, because obviously that's pretty much where it is at the moment, and interactive projectors.
The problem is, mate, what's becoming an issue with schools now, I find, in the last couple of years, in the last 5 years, this has started to become really common. You hear about it all the time, and it's bloody annoying. Schools have started to it seems to be now that if there's a case of bullying, if someone's getting bullied, the schools seem to stay out of it and don't seem to want to do anything. But the moment that kid snaps, basically ends up laying into the bullies, the school will immediately go after the victim, but they will do nothing against the actual people who started the whole thing. And it seems to be becoming more and more common in this day and age for schools.
Yeah.
So bullying then, what's this about?
Well, basically, I'm just talking about how in the modern age it seems that schools will do nothing regarding someone who's been bullied. They'll just leave it. And the moment said person snaps and ends up punching the bully, the school will immediately go after that person, like, how dare you defend yourself? And I know people who have had that happen to them.
Yeah, that's because all schools are expected to have a zero tolerance approach to bullying. If they actually admit that there's bullying going off in school, obviously they failed. So they can't admit failure. So that's why when somebody reports bullying, they won't do anything, because they're, well, first off, they're too scared to confront the bullies, because obviously then next thing you get in,
it's like they're grassing, isn't it?
Well, no, it's not that. It's a case of you confront the bullies, and the next thing you get their mammy and daddy writing to the local paper to say that the school's harassing their little soldier.
That actually happened a couple of years ago, didn't it?
Yeah, it's happened quite a lot. And then the other thing is, it's obviously then if they do have to admit that they've got a bullying problem at school, then they've failed. And, all those teachers that's got those, nice little fucking, 10-year contracts or whatever to work at a school, or, they'll end up losing that. The headmaster gets sacked. School gets funding pulled from it and all stuff like that, I'm afraid that's what I said. My mate's son, he's been getting fucking bullied at school, and it's not a case of that he's completely blameless, because sometimes he does just lose his rag for no reason, and somebody just has to look at him funny and he'll start swinging, but he's been bullied at school, and it's like the school's basically done nothing. They put him in isolation. It's like they have done that, where it's like be walking to school and kids will set about him, and then because there's three of them, so he can't really take three of them on, so he waits till he's at school, and then he waits till he's at school and he gets an opportunity to have a crack at one of them, so he'll have a crack at one of them and he's the one that's in the wrong, and then they'll go, oh, he just attacked me for no, and then he'll say to them, yeah, but they were having a go at me at school, on the way to school, and like, oh yeah, but if it's outside of school we can't do all.
I mean, the thing is, what I remember back in the early days, 90s, when I started school, that was still before so many kids had mobile phones, and but back in the olden days, what used to happen when a fight broke out or something like that, crowds of kids just used to gather and shout, fight, 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 fight. And it's now, because of all the cyber stuff, when you see this stuff happening, people just get out their phones. Yeah,
you can guarantee that within the hour, a video of your fight will be on fucking YouTube or Facebook or Snapchat or whatever it is.
But I think when the victim gets blamed, when they really haven't done anything and the school don't do anything about it, because of their own reputation, because, and it's disgusting. That really is disgusting, because, I think the rates of suicide, of young people suicide has really gone up in the past few years. Yeah.
Is it wrong of me to say this, but I've always personally believed this is something which seems to elude people. Whenever you hear about a story of, say, a 15-year-old boy, 15-year-old girl committing suicide because they were getting nasty tweets. It's like, why don't we click the block button? Why?
I don't get that. Why? It's because all social media and stuff like that has become far too an important part of a child's life. It's like I say, it's like me and you would just go like, oh, fuck off and block them, or fucking just have a go back and just think, you just think like, it's like, yeah, you call me a cunt, I'll call you a cunt. We can carry on insulting each other until fucking cows come home. Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it's like to kids, it's like, oh, so-and-so called me a cunt, and, I don't have a go back, because if I go to school, I'm going to get fucking punched in face. So everybody's going to stand round and go like, dickhead, dickhead, that. So that's why you get kids there, because basically their choices are, you can go tell your parents, oh, I'm being bullied at school. Parents go and try and sort it out. Oh, we can't do it because it's not at school. So then the choices of the kids are, do I go to school and face it when, you know, it's every fucking day, you know, like that? I mean, people say, oh, you've just got to toughen up. You can toughen up, but eventually that daily grind of fucking, you know, when you're at school and you've got everybody fucking saying shit about you and they're not saying it behind your back either, actually saying it to your fucking face, you know, and, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can understand why they do it, and it's like I say, it's when kids are, you know, that's when it is on school property, and school should do something. Because the initial thing that started the bullying started off outside of school. All there's no one can do about it, you know.
The other thing that gets me this day and age, and I feel in a lot of ways the modern parent is responsible and is to blame for this. Kids are getting younger and younger, and let me rephrase that.
No, I'm going to say
having access to social media are getting younger. Now I'm seeing like 6-year-olds iPhones now, you know, and they're walking around and they've got Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and the parents are all, "Oh, it's fine, it's okay." No, it isn't. They shouldn't be knocking about Facebook at 6 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parental controls on it, but, you know, I think so many parents just don't bother. Because they think, no, the kids will only look at stuff they understand.
Yeah.
But you can see any bloody thing on it.
The other concept as well, that when you hear about some, like, 8-year-old getting molested, and it's like, oh, I never knew he was talking to Derek, who was 45, who lived 2 streets away. It's like, what the hell do you think your 6-year-old was doing on that iPhone every day?
Yeah.
Come on. The world's full of awful, awful people, and it's parents' job to protect their children.
Somebody said to me about that. I said, well, about, you know, like kids watching, you know, like films and stuff that they shouldn't be watching and that. And went, yeah, but that's what parental control's for. And it's like, yeah, but the problem is that in order to maintain good parental controls, you have to be up their arse 24/7. And let's face it, people aren't going to do that. You know, parents aren't going to sit and watch the kids 24 hours a day. Fuck's sake, most of them. You know, it's like, you know, if they can have 10 minutes just to sit on their own without fucking kids up their ass, they'll take it. You know, and in that 10 minutes, you know, dirty Derek can fucking send them a photo of his cock. You know.
Yeah. I get that. I get what you're saying, Cal. But like I said, I also feel like there's just too many parents just thinking it's okay for the kids to run around with iPhones and stuff and get online, and it's like I personally think. I mean, I don't really know what anyone's opinions on this would be, but I personally believe we need laws passed to state that you have to be 16 to have a bloody iPhone or an Android phone. You shouldn't be allowed to have them at the age of 6.
Well, no, it's that's a bit.
I had my first phone at 11 years old.
16. You should be 16 to own a smartphone.
Couldn't do all the things they could do now.
Yeah, you should be 16 to own a smartphone. It's before that age. It should just be calls only, no text, just calls only.
An old-fashioned phone that you can buy for like $5.99 for your kid, so they've got some way to contact you. You know, but
the other thing I hear a lot of these days, I you know, the last couple of weeks, especially coming up to Christmas, a hell of a lot of parents on the buses on my way to work or from work. The amount of parents are always writing on saying, like, you know, oh, I got little Jimmy an iPhone the other day, and I've installed that tracking app, so whenever he goes out, I can keep an eye on him. I know where he's going and all that stuff. And I'm just thinking, you are aware that stuff's very easy to shut off.
Yeah,
it take a genius to switch the off button on those things.
And half of those things don't even work anyway.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, say, even
what if the kid loses?
Yeah, even the police, when, you know, like when somebody's gone, you know, like somebody's gone missing and they have a look at the mobile phone to see if they can figure out where they are. What they call it, the blip from the phone is only, I think it's only, it depends how far away you are from a tracking tower, but it gives you sort of like a rough area, as opposed to where you are.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
so
of the signal actually.
It's like say you got kidnapped and somebody shoved you in, you know, boot of a car and drove you down M62. They can see the signal going down the M62, but then when car stops, it's like, you know, oh well, blip's sort of in this area, so we'll concentrate a search on. But that don't mean that you're actually there. That just means that your phone's last contact was there.
Yeah,
you know,
they could have been like a 30-mile radius.
Yeah, they can park up. You know, they can park up somewhere and fucking drag you out. And you drop your phone in car. You know, which is that's actually happened where they've looked for people that's been murdered and stuff like that. You know, they found the phone and gone to the place where the phone is, and they found a phone. You know, and then they're like, oh shit, well, we're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way now, and actually start looking properly.
Yeah, I often wonder, the way things. I mean, forget like 50 years. What the hell is it going to be like in 10 years' time? The way technology is moving and the way social media is moving.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm starting to think, the more you see the breakdown of social media, where you've got, like your platforms like Facebook and Twitter, going more and more towards censoring people and stuff like that. And then you've got, the alternative social media sites, like Gab and things like that, which are set up to allow you to, basically to have, free speech and whatnot. And I'm seeing that, possibly in 50 years, there might not be social media like what it is now. Because it's like, say, people sitting on Facebook and Twitter all day, and it's making them depressed. So people start packing. I mean, it's like my mum there. She's got Facebook, but she hardly goes on it because it's like she says, you sit and you look at Facebook and stuff all day. It just makes you miserable. It's like you see people going on holiday and people talking about how awesome their lives are. They don't talk about how miserable their lives are, because they need to look like they're better than you. So, you go and it's all stuff like that. And I think at some point, with all the stuff that's happening with regards to like censorship and, and cracking down on things that, it's not necessarily just censorship in general. It's just when you've got Facebook cracking down because people are saying stuff that Facebook they personally don't like, as opposed to people saying, like, oh, well, we're going to report this because it's, you shouldn't be posting pictures of dead bodies and stuff like that. It's just because, it's like, oh, well, I think Brexit's a good idea. Bang, censored, because Facebook doesn't like the idea of Brexit or whatever. And, it's going to get to the point where people aren't going to bother anymore. It's like, what's the point in having social media when you can't talk to anybody?
So could we effectively regress back to the time when people just had if you wanted to talk about something, people physically sat down and talked about it rather than... No,
I think it'll go back to... I think if anything, if that kind of thing does happen, I reckon it'll go back to things like MSN.
Yeah, fair point.
But, if you want to talk to people, you can have group chats, set up a group chat, on MSN or something, either video or text chat, set up a group chat like that. And then, people can see, people will be able to look through see what group chats are going on. If they want to join in, they join in, even if it's just complete strangers. And then, it's like, oh, so-and-so's come. Oh, who's that? Don't know. Right, well, we don't want him here. But then again, that will create echo chambers. You get all the flat earthers together in a group chat and they're like, yeah, the earth is definitely flat, isn't it? Oh, yeah, of course it is. Yeah. And somebody with a name like, Globe Master 7000 wants to come into chat, and it's like, oh no, right, we don't want him to come in, like that.
There's such a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. But, I think it's gonna get more like that. There will be sort of social media things, but it's not going to be like it is at the minute. It's all it needs is just for somebody to do, like an open source social network that like just exists in cloud. Rather than having a main server where somebody like Mark Zuckerberg can sit there and decide what he wants you to talk about. Just an open source thing there where you can't be, where you can't be banned, you can't be censored and stuff like that. And then, if people do abuse it, like for sending fucking kiddie porn and things like that, the police can still look at it.
Yeah.
Obviously you've still got the whole, use a VPN to hide where you are and, hide your name and your IP address, which is something else that more and more people now are using VPNs because there's that much, you've got like Facebook that have sold people's personal information, just barefaced fucking sold it, even though it's illegal. Stuff like that. You've got Twitter that's been caught doing it as well. You've got YouTube that's fucking... what they're calling it, data farming and things like that. So, you know, more and more people are using VPNs now. So yeah, and then of course you've got your dark web as well, where, you know, if you're really hardcore about, you know, hiding yourself, you know, you go and you just exclusively use dark web, which, you know, probably isn't advisory in the current state that it's in, because more trouble than it's fucking worth.
Yeah, I've had a dip into the dark web, but I've never really like gone deep in a way. I've just kind of browsed the surface.
It's a lot. It's overrated. Yeah, a lot of it's overrated. You know, like they go, oh yeah, on the dark web you can go onto websites and buy like drugs and guns and stuff. It's like, yeah, you can. You know, there's places where you can do that on the normal web. You know, but it's, you know, like and then on the dark web there's like all, you know, like illegal porn and stuff like that. It's like, well, I'm not into that kind of stuff, so why would I want to look at it? You know, especially, you know, like on the dark web, it's where you get all you fucking kiddie fiddlers and things like that. It's like, I'm not interested in looking at kiddie porn. You know, I think people who look at kiddie porn should be fucking set on fire. You know, so
speaking of that, Carl, well, I've seen some of the posts you put up on Facebook. There's been a hell of a lot of vigilantes going after bloody kiddie fiddlers recently, haven't there?
Yeah, good. Because that's what they deserve.
I heard about some guy who got locked up for 10 years for raping and murdering 2 8-year-old girls, and when he got out, the father of one of the girls basically hired a hitman to have him shot.
Good.
And the guy's body was found on a road somewhere, 4 bullets in his back.
Yeah, good. No, that's what I say. It's kiddie fiddlers. Sorry, but there should be no life sentence, no 10 to 15 years. It should be a rope round your neck and that's it, because you are an absolute fucking waste of space. You're an absolute fucking waste of space and you deserve to be fucking killed. That we've got there's no fucking stomach anymore for doing some things that's necessary. It's like, what purpose do child molesters serve in any society? None. You know, having sex with kids serves no purpose whatsoever.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether or not you know about this, Cal, but have you ever heard of an organisation called Pi?
No.
It got kind of brought to light about 5 or 6 years ago. Basically, in the 80s, there was a movement within the British government called Pi that stood for Paedophile Information Exchange. Mm-hmm. It was effectively a group of paedophiles within the government trying to legalise paedophilia.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
And the whole thing got effectively blown wide open about 6 years ago. It basically, what was interesting about it was there are people working in government today who back then were like low-level members who were known to be part of this movement. And there was calls for it to be investigated, for these people to be investigated, and nothing ever got done. Despite all the paperwork's there, and it proves this thing exists.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. But then again, it's like I say, you get paedophile networks everywhere. There's always been paedophile networks. It's, you know, the thing is, we tend to know more about them now because, you know, back in the old, you know, in the olden days, good old days, you know, Dirty Derek from down the road, if people found out that he were touching kiddie winkies, he'd suddenly, he might move away, or he might spend some time in hospital, or he might end up in morgue, and nobody did know why. You know, I don't know. It's like, oh, what's that? Dirty Derek's dead. Oh dear. Then, you know. Oh, did I see anybody go to his house? No.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
The police would just go like, oh, well, we don't know who's done it, so we'll just stick that file in filing cabinet and maybe have a look at it again in a couple of years. You know, that's what I said. We hear more about it now because of the internet, and the only problem is, as well, it was still a problem back in, you know, pre-internet days. Was obviously, you know, like with internet now, somebody can go and say, oh, so and so is a paedophile, and you know, then that gets sent around Facebook or whatever. And as it turns out, so-and-so isn't a paedophile, but they're now paedophile.
Yeah, they get mistaken.
Yeah,
like
now
they're confused. They've got a similar name or something like that.
Yeah, it's that thing there where, and it's like, say, even in pre-internet days, all it took were, you know, like fucking Gobby Ethel down at bus stop say, "Oh well, I've heard that man down there. He likes to touch kiddies." I mean, even if this is the weird thing, that even if you've got somebody who likes kids, you know, a bloke or whatever that likes kids, it's always a bloke. It's never a woman, because obviously women can't be paedophiles, even though they can. And you know, it's always a bloke, and it's always, you know, and if he like works with kids or whatever, you know, like if he helps out at kids groups or at, you know, school or whatever, and somebody will say like, "Oh yeah, he really likes kids, him," and then in somebody's head they'll hear, well, they'll be told he liked kids, him, and then it'll go through the brain and be processed, and it'll come out as he likes touching kiddies, him. You know, so you end up a paedophile, even though you're most definitely not, and nobody's ever said you're a paedophile, but because one person has a bit too much time on their hands to sit and think about things, you know, you end up as a paedophile.
Yeah, and these days those people will be on posting it all over Facebook the next day.
Yeah, straight to Facebook or Mumsnet or whatever. "Oh, such and such person from my area. Here's his name. Here's his address. I've got evidence, or you know, I've got really good evidence that he's a paedophile." It's like, all right, what's your good evidence? "Oh well, I can't cite my sources." It's like, yeah, because you've either just made it up, or you know, you just fucking heard something somebody said and took it wrong way.
Well, the problem is, I mean, God, getting onto the subject, why not? About a year ago, I came across a story about a bloke who, when he was about 7, got abused by his neighbour, who was a woman. And the abuse went on for several months. And basically, long story short, it took him 20 years for him to basically for people to believe him.
Yeah.
For 20 years, no one believed him. You know, his parents didn't believe him. His school didn't believe him. Even when he was like 19, he went to see a counsellor. And after the second session, the counsellor just thought he was full of shit.
Yeah.
It's like 20 years, there's this bloke, you know, trying to get justice for what happened to him. If it had been reversed, if it had been a man who'd abused him, probably would have believed him straight away. Because a woman did it, no one believed him for 20 years.
Yeah. It's like I say, because my friend did a video for YouTube the other day, and he went through news articles which were, you know, like women raping underage boys, but it's not raping underage boys because women can't rape men, you know, allegedly, apparently, women can't rape men. And we're all underage boys and stuff like that. And, you know, it's taken, you know, like some cases, it's taken years to get sorted out. And even then, they can't really, you know, punish them in the same way as they punish a male paedophile. Because the law still refuses to, you know, accept that women can sexually molest and rape children. You know, it's not something women do. It's the same as the thing like, you know, the whole listen and believe thing, where it's like, you know, women can't lie about being raped or sexually assaulted. Of course they fucking can. You know, it's
scary, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm going to say I've seen footage from this year's Women's March, which was, I think it was yesterday, either Friday or yesterday, and and some of the footage from there is just like what they call. I mean, there's one guy, he's got a channel that's called Slightly Offensive, and he says, you know, I've spent all day walking around, you know, this thing, you know, talking to people and having a bit of bants and stuff like that. And he says, considering it's the Women's March, he says, an inordinate amount of it seems to be just purely focused on Donald Trump.
Yeah, I heard about that.
A march that's supposed to be, you know, for women's liberation and women's power and stuff like that, is still dominated by their fixation on one man.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that. I think I don't get. I mean, if you don't like someone, don't agree with the policies, fair enough. But why, when you're meant to be, as you say, when you're meant to be going out and being all about women's rights and stuff, why spend the entire time basically protesting one man who, by the way, doesn't live in the UK and is not part of the UK government?
Oh no, this is Women's March in America.
Right. I thought you were about the UK one.
No, Women's March in America. You know, and then there's like. Another one I seen there was, you know, like signs, pictures of signs that were old, you know, that's been posted on, you know, like YouTube, on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. And it's all stuff, you know, like ridiculous fucking crap, you know, like, oh, abolish the pink tax. It's like, well, the pink tax doesn't exist. You know, you quite the pink tax. Basically, women's products cost more than men's, therefore it must be sexism. But then they kind of don't seem to appreciate that, you know, products aimed at women are different to the ones that are aimed at men. You know, so they call it the pink tax because it's like, it started off, you know, like with women's razors. It started off with that, where they said, how come you can buy a pack of men's razors for like £1 and get like, you know, 50 razors in it, but yet razors aimed at women, you get a pack of, you know, you get a pack for, you know, £5 and it's got like 3 razors in it. You know, why is it that women's stuff costs more? And it's like, well, the stuff that you get in the pack that's a £5 is a lot different to the stuff that's in the pack that's £1. You know, and if you really, and if you really object to paying £5 for 3 razors, why not just pay £1 and get the 50? And then like, yeah, but it doesn't shave properly, and it's like, exactly. So you're not buying the same product, are you? You're buying a different product at a different price because it's different. You know, it's all stuff like that. It's fucking women's match there, and it's like a lot of people said there. It's funny how they go on about, you know, oh, we're being held under the thumb sort of thing, and it's like I pointed out, if women were really being held under the thumb, then why would thousands of them be allowed to make signs, dress up, and gather in public places without the police immediately coming in and showering them all with tear gas?
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's like age, everybody's got equal rights, haven't they?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's women do have completely equal rights to men. You know, there's no pay gap. That's been debunked God knows how many times. And any subtle differences that they tend to find, you know, between women and men are either caused by women or it's just slight inconveniences that everybody has to put up with, but women tend to moan about more.
Well, speaking of obviously the gender pay gap, I remember a few years ago watching a video, and this woman was using the most nonsensical, bizarre evidence that wasn't evidence, and her way of proving there is a gender pay gap was basically taking 2 jobs that were completely different. One job was basically a woman working in an office as like an administrator. And the other job she used as evidence that there is a gender pay gap was a male heart surgeon at the top of his field.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course he's going to get paid more. He's in a much more demanding job with years of training. Yeah,
that's what it comes out to. It's like, you know, I mean, Milo Yiannopoulos, you know, he points out, he says basically what you do is you take all the money earned by all the men in the world and then all the money earned by all the women in the world, and, you know, when you add it all up, it's unequal. But that fails to take into account the fact that, you know, women don't do the same jobs as men. You know, women can do the same jobs as men if they want, but a lot of them choose not to.
Yeah.
You know, or women tend not to work as many hours as men. Women tend to take more time off for holidays, or they'll take time off, you know, when they have kids and stuff like that. You know, men can take time off when they have kids if they want. But, you know,
there's maternity leave for both genders.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, you know, it's the playing field is basically level. All it comes down to a lot of the time is just personal choice. You know, it's like I said, you know, it's like I said the other day, yesterday I put on Facebook, and a Quorn advert says, you know, how are you going to apologise to her for working late?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to apologise at all. I'm going to come home and go to bed because I'm working late because, you know, somebody's got to keep food on the table and a roof over his heads. You know, I don't have to apologise for working late. You know, it's like she has to apologise for not bringing the same amount of money into the house that I do. You know, if I work 60 hours a week and you only work 40 hours a week, then, you know, there's a reason why you're not getting paid same as me. It's because I'm working more hours than you are.
Well, I've got to admit, that's one thing I've never got my head around whenever that age-old thing shows up of, you know, Mark's got home late from work again. How is he going to apologise? It's like, hang on. If Mark had to work late, he had to work late. By working late, he's obviously bringing in, he's bringing in more money. But it always baffled me. It's like, why does he have to apologise for doing his job? That bit I don't get.
Yeah, it's like, all right, love. It's like I'm doing a job. I'm working 60 hours a week. You know, you're working 40 hours a week, but you don't like it that I'm working more hours than you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pack in and go on doll. And it's like, oh yeah, but then we won't have as much money. Well, you can't have it both ways. Either I work to bring money into the house, or I don't. It's up to you, you know. Because I had that same, I've had that same argument with a woman before, when we were both working, and it's like, yeah, I'm out working a lot longer than you are, and I'm getting paid more because my job's, you know, slightly more involved than the one that you do. So, you know, at the end of the day, I can pack that job in if you want, you know, and I can just go and get a job working behind a bar, or, you know, just a job working in a supermarket for 20 hours a week, you know, something like that. But at that point, you become the main breadwinner in the house, and you know, you have to take over responsibility for making sure that we've got enough money for fucking rent and food and, you know, and everything else that goes, you know. Who's bonging me? Like I said, shit like that annoying. Oh, hang on. I've been in a couple of discussions on the Daily Mirror website recently, and it's become quite funny, some of the responses I'm getting. So I've just had a message. Yeah, I've just had a message that somebody's replied to one of my comments. Let's see if it's a salty one.
What's the subject?
Well, there's been a couple of subjects. One of them was about the Daily Mirror going on about like homeless people. Oh, it was apparently in Emmerdale, he's been forced to sleep rough and he dies of exposure. And they say, oh, it's horrific. And I just said, well, yeah, it's horrific for a fictional character on a TV show, but you don't seem to care much about when it happens, you know, every day to normal people. And I've had some other because, yeah, but they're raising awareness. It's like, yeah, but that's just slacktivism. Raising awareness does nothing. It's just sitting on your ass, virtue signaling. And I just said there, I says, if the Daily Mirror got rid of some of the people that they employ, in the minute, a lot of the news site, not the stories that they publish, are just basically where you can see where somebody's just been trawling through Twitter and things like that to look for things that people posted, you know. And if they got rid of those people that sit and look at Twitter all day and then use their salaries to purchase property and set it up as low-cost accommodation for homeless, that would help, rather than printing a story about fucking Bob from Emmerdale, you know. And a load of people there like, oh yeah, but, you know, if they raise awareness and people do something. No, they won't. You know, there's plenty of fucking homeless charities out there. Yeah, there's plenty of homeless charities out there now that could use money, but they're not getting it because people can't afford it. You know, and it's like a lot of these people that own, like the executives of places, you know, big companies like that. You know, if you were homeless and begging on streets, and you dropped dead outside their house, they would step over your body to get into their car to go to work. They wouldn't stop. They wouldn't even stop to look at you. You know, and we've all done it. I don't care what anybody says. We've all done it. We've all seen somebody sat begging, and we've all crossed the road to avoid them, or we've all just walked past and ignored them. You know, we've all done it. Don't anybody dare say that they haven't.
Well, no, I'll tell you, right, the other night in Boston, on Friday, I was in Boston, Lincolnshire, with my mum, went to see my grandparents.
Yeah.
And my mum saw these people, you know, in their duvets in the shop doorways in the town in the evening. And she said, and she went and stopped at she went to one of them and said, I said, I'm sorry, I've left all my small change in the car. And then when we walked away, I said, Mum, don't give him any, because you know what the first thing he's going to do with it is.
Yeah. And that's the problem with it's like I say, I mean, when I used to work at social services, you know, we occasionally used to speak to the you know, the adult social services people. I mean, the department I was in was the children's one, but you know, we did a lot of work with the adult one as well.
They were a social worker.
They have they deal with a lot of homeless people.
Can you actually be a qualified social worker? I was going to ask.
You what?
Were you actually a social worker?
No. I used to be the person that did all the paperwork and everything behind the scenes for them to make them look good. But yeah, the ones in the adult department, it's like they said there. They said that, you know, a good 90% of the people that you see begging for money on the streets of Doncaster aren't actually homeless.
No, they're faking.
They're either alcoholics or drug addicts. They've got somewhere to live, and the only reason why they're out and about begging for money is to go and buy whatever their vice is. They said, but that doesn't mean that there's not homeless people in the area. There are, and it's like I said there are a lot of homeless people, but a lot of the actual proper homeless people they've been out to see him, and they've helped him, and they've said, you can do this during the day, you can do that. Here's a list of places where you can stop at night that won't charge you, or here's a list of places that are happy for you to just go in, go and sleep inside the building or whatever, and things like that. This is where you can get food from, this is where you can get, clean clothes and stuff like that from. You can go here and get a bath or whatever, and they won't charge you, or they might charge you, but they might want 10p or something. Something like that. Because it's like they say, well, the best charities that deal with homeless people, stuff like that, charge them. But they only charge them a small amount because it's like they say, you don't get something for nothing.
Yeah.
Even the church places or the religious places that do things for homeless people, they might not ask for money. You might be able to go in and get a wash and get some clean clothes and get something to eat and a drink or whatever. But you'll be charged, and you'll be charged being as that they'll want to, make you listen to a sermon or something like that. That's their price. But it's like I say, you don't get something for nothing, and if you really want to get out of homelessness, you can do it. It's just that, you've got to rise above the, I'll just sit here and take money off people thing.
Yeah,
well, anybody can do that. Anybody can sit around the streets, scruffy clothes on and a little bit of cardboard with some, shit scribbled on it, or homeless and hungry, and then just sit there. Yeah. Don't even ask people for money, just sit there with, a little pot or something for people to chuck money at you in,
With my mum, because my mum works at the job centre, so obviously she does know a bit about obviously what goes on in the local homeless communities and things, and one of the things the job centres are obviously are aware of is effectively the fakers, the non-homeless people who pretend to be homeless, as you say, Carl. And she was telling me a while ago now about one particular woman that the job centre are aware of, who I believe she's in York, who is basically on benefits, but what she does is she dresses up to look scruffy, gets a couple of old Tesco bags and stuff, fills them full of crap, and then spends a few days a week walking around York, basically looking homeless. And normally she can make maybe £100 in a day just in change, but she's not homeless. She's got a flat and she's obviously on benefits. But people like that, as I say, the job centre do know about.
Yeah, there was one guy a few years ago that got busted in Sheffield, and the reason why he got busted was because he was driving in his Mercedes. Yeah, get there. He was driving in his Mercedes to a company that got a car park around the back, and it weren't a metered car park or like that. It was just about 8 bays, and he found he could park his car there all day and nobody would say out to him. So he'd drive his Mercedes there, and then they'd see people in building, they'd see him getting changed from in normal clothes into scruffy clothes. And then one of them come across him begging in Sheffield town centre, and they said to him hang on a minute, I've seen you driving a Mercedes and changing into them clothes. Oh, no. And she reported it to police, and when they found, this guy was quite well off. He'd owned his own company or something. He would just what they call it, slumming it. Like when people who've got a fair bit of money and they want to, slum it sort of thing. I want to live basic and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a similar story to that in a chap in Leicester who I've actually seen. I know who. Well, I haven't spoken to him. I know he's got no legs, and he sits on the streets with his little rucksack, with his little coat with his coat out to drop money to. And what works as an advantage for him is because he's got no legs, he's got a visible disability, which will make people feel sorry for him. But it was found out that he was actually a very rich person. He was very well off, and he was faking being homeless. But now he's been banned from going into several places like Nottingham. They're on the lookout for him if he tries to get to places like Nottingham now.
Yeah, I would have said there were a thing. They were thinking at Doncaster Free Press just before Christmas, an actual story, because they have crime roundup. every fortnight in paper, you know, stuff that's been off at magistrates court. But this one, they actually made a point of making a story about him. A guy who's you know, well known for aggressive begging in and around the Doncaster area. And they said basically he's been completely banned from town centre. And they put a picture of him on as well. They said, you know, if you see him in and around the town centre, just ring police straight away because he's not supposed to be there. He's another one that's a, you know, fucking smack rat or something like that that's just out fucking. And then he's like, oh, can you give some money? And you say, no, I ain't got any money, you know. And then he's like, you know, well, can I go through your pockets and shit? Yeah, but that's the what they call it. That's the problem with the homeless charities thing. It's like most of the people that you see begging aren't actually homeless, and so you know, it's like well, they're just trying to get money together or whatever. And it's like, well, that's fine. Give them your money. I'm not giving them any of mine. You know, I've been in what they call it, where I've had no fucking money and not had no to eat for days and stuff like that. I've never gone and begged on fucking streets. You know, I've always managed to find a way of getting myself out of it. You know, sometimes you might not like what you have to do to get yourself out of it, but at the end of the day,
no, but you got to do it.
You know, you can't expect everything to go your way all the fucking time. You know, sometimes you've got to fucking do stuff you don't like in order to get to a place that you do like. You know, which is one of the things that young'uns don't seem to understand these days about why you have to get out of bed and go to fucking work.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like going to work. I get like tired and stuff, and then like, you know, I can't hang around with my mates and things. Like, well, yeah, you know, but if you wanna, you know, have something to eat and a roof over your head, you might want to consider doing that. You know, because it's like council won't give you a fucking flat anymore because they ain't got any. Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, I'm very lucky to have the place I've got.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you are. I mean, when I was looking for a flat. When my mum used to do elf visiting, there was a council flat that she used to go to see somebody that were there, and that person moved to Leeds, so the flat was sat empty, and she said about it. So I got into council and said to them, oh, there's this flat here, and I gave them an address, and they said, oh, that's not currently on our database. I went, well, when it comes up for thingy, I want my name down first for it. I says, because, you know, it's right on my doorstep, sort of thing, from where I'm living now. I can move all my stuff in you know, in less than a day. It's ideal for where I want to be. And they're like, oh, all right then, you know, sat back a few weeks, didn't hear nothing, checked up, weren't on thingy, and then next thing somebody were living in it. And I rang up and said, what about that then? They went, oh, yeah, you know, like that. And it's like, yeah, you didn't even advertise it. Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, if you get like a council thing now, you're really lucky.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, when we were moving from old house to before this house, we'd got his names down for council and everything like that, and there were no, you know, it's like we were looking at council. You know, the council. Well, it's not council anymore. It's something that's basically it's associated with the council, but it's not the council for tax purposes or some bollocks like that. And I went and had a look at one flat that was on there, and it was advertised as being ground floor to.
Oh, you there?
Yes,
bedroom flat. Yeah, it wasn't ground floor, it was first floor, and it wasn't two bedroomed, it was one sort of living room, a very tiny kitchen, one bedroom, and then one cupboard that got a window in it, so they classed it as a bedroom. Yeah, and it's just like, you know, and I went, and it was no good for me, you know, because it was up like 2 flights of stairs. And it's like, you know, it's just when we went there, and even the woman that said, you know, she says, this flat's not probably going to be good for you because, you know, her and my mum disappeared off upstairs quick, and it's like, you know, 10 minutes later I came along, you know, fucking knackered. Yeah, and yeah, she says to me there, she goes, no, she says, this flat's probably not going to be good for you. And the place stunk of fucking weed as well. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, I lost my fucking temper the week we were in Home Bargains. And all you could smell in shop were fucking weed. And we were walking round, and it became very obvious it was this fucking pimply-faced youth that the smell was emanating from. And the smell was making me sick, and it was making quite a few people sick as well. You could see on the faces. And I just said, "Oh, I'm going to go down here instead of queuing up here." And you know, my mum says, "Why?" And I just says, "Because I'm sick of the smell of fucking cannabis everywhere I go." That's, you know, I said it out right loud as well to make sure everybody fucking heard me. And there's like fucking pimple face used there, like, what?
Did you get any response to it? Did you get any responses
was
from
he a
people?
member of staff, Carl, or was he just like another customer?
No, just another customer. You know, you get these fuckers that walk around the fucking reek of it.
Yeah.
And they think like, you know, the people can't smell it on me because I put some fucking links on or something like that. It's like when it gets to the point at which, you know, the smell it's permeated your clothes and it's coming out of your fucking skin. Yeah, just putting a bit of links on at top ain't gonna do all. But then again, a lot of them don't care. You know, it's like, oh, I smoke weed, I'm clever, me. Oh, all right, son, whatever.
Well, we had that problem at was going back 10 years now, but when I was one of the very first jobs, I was a stadium steward at Hull City Stadium, KC Stadium in Hull, and the amount of problems we had with basically young teenagers, you know, like 15, 16-year-old lads who used to think they were real clever, and they used to spliff up a joint in the toilets.
Yeah.
One day, me and one of the stewards were just doing the rounds, just pre-match, and we could smell it straight away. We followed the smell all the way into the bloke's toilets, and we're both stood there, and there's a cubicle locked, and we can see the smoke rising up in the cubicle. And I go out, grab a supervisor, walk back in, and I'm like, yeah. And he hammers on the door and he goes, all right, come out, I can smell it and I can see the smoke. And for about 10 minutes, all three of us were stood there. And eventually, these two lads open the door, hoods up, faces down, and try and shuffle past us while the smell of weed is just flowing off them. And the supervisor's like, no, lads, don't be fucking stupid. We've got a camera right here. We can see your faces, and three of us are witness to you smoking drugs on the premises. Out. It's just so funny.
What are the, you know, I can't remember which one it was. You know them like programs where it's people coming back off holiday and customs men checking the luggage and stuff like that. Yeah. And once I remember the guy had got, I don't know, he got like a fucking kilo of weed. He'd just come back from like fucking Holland or whatever, and he got a kilo of weed in a bag, like hidden in one of his shoes in his suitcase. You know, and it was dead easy for him to find. They didn't even need dog because you could smell it just by, you know, fucking sniffing at the suit. Not even the open suitcase, you know. And they took him one side and went, you know, obviously police have got to be involved because with that much weed, it's classed as, you know, enough to, you know, like be a dealer sort of thing. And they're like, you know, you do realise that bringing, you know, this substance back from, you know, into the country is illegal, don't you? And it's like, yeah, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's my right because I went on holiday and I enjoyed it. And I don't see why I shouldn't be able to bring back a memento of how much I enjoyed my holiday. And it's like, and bloke just says to her, like, just as I looked at it, then he just goes like, yeah, that's what, you know, holiday pictures are for. Yeah. It's like, just because you went off and smoked some fucking weed and enjoyed it, don't mean that, you know, it's all right for you to fetch it back, you know. Oh, really? Like, go to America and then come back with a suitcase full of guns, and it's like, oh well, while I was there, I went to a gun shop and, you know, like fucking shot some. I bought some guns and, you know, I enjoyed. And I don't see why you shouldn't let me like bring these guns back because I enjoyed that. Yeah. Fucking.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this heroin while I was away. I thought I'd bring back a couple of kilos of it, just a pair of things to remind me of my holiday in France.
Well, do you remember when people were doing that? When you could load a van up with booze and just fetch it back from France, and people were doing that. Oh yeah, it's for personal consumption, or we're having a party or something like that. And it's like, yeah, that's why you've got a transit van. Just literally, it's got that much booze in it that the back fucking suspension's creaking. There used to be, I think it was Castlemaine Forex did an advert. It showed you like two Australian blokes stood outside a shop and they're fetching out case after case after case of fucking Forex and putting it in back of his pickup. And you can see pickups getting a bit, it's creaking and back wheels are, you know, starting to sag and that. And one of them goes like, "Oh, what about something for the Sheilas?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Fetch out 2 bottles of sherry, mate." So they fetch out 2 bottles of sherry, put it on top of this beer, and fucking back end at car collapses. And then the other guy goes like, "Oh, I think you overdid it with the sherry."
Yeah.
Like fucking. You know,
all right, guys. I think. Oh, sorry. Go on, Carl. I'll let you finish.
No, it's all right. Yeah.
All right. I think we're gonna have to call it pretty much now, lads, because it's been nearly 4 hours.
4 hours.
We can go.
I've got to be back up in like let's see, less than about 5 hours and 20 minutes now. So. No, 6 hours and 20 minutes. Sorry,
It's technically your birthday now. Shall we sing happy birthday to him, or shall we just not bother? Yeah. Happy birthday, you cunt. Hope you fall on a spike. Hope you get raped by gorillas.
In what scenario is this actually even possible?
Falling on a spike and getting raped by gorilla. It could be a very unsafe gorilla enclosure at the zoo.
True.
I never go to the zoo anyway.
His dad comes round late to bring him his main present and then, "Hey, tell you what, let's go to the zoo." And he'll be like, "No!"
I don't want to go to the zoo. They're the most boring places.
Oh,
Hey, you want to go visit the gorillas, Lawrence, as part of your birthday present?
I don't know, funny, that's in a news story the other week. Was it a guy? A guy went to you know, like one of those zoos that's in, you know, like you know, somewhere in the Far East, you know, where it's a zoo but it's not set up, you know, like to sort of modern safety standards. Yeah. And he went to the gorilla enclosure and he smiled at one of the gorillas. And unfortunately, to gorillas, when you show your teeth, it means you're trying to threaten them. Mm. So the gorilla smashed out of its cage and killed him.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And on that note, and on that bombshell. Oh, by the way, new series of Grand Tour started this week, and new series of Star Trek Discovery started this week. Guess which one was better?
I'm going to say the Grand Tour.
Yeah.
Even though I absolutely hate Jeremy Clarkson.
Oh, shut up, you faggot. Yeah. Anyway,
I've watched a few episodes of his version of you know, with him on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoy it. I still enjoy it, but he just wasn't as enthusiastic. He's not as enthusiastic as Chris was.
Yeah, but
doesn't pull like the pranks.
Enthusiasm isn't his style, and they take the piss out of him Grand Tour for it as well. So there we are.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, anyways, let him do his thingy, and then we'll get off.
Okay, then. All right. Well, thanks all for joining me, guys.
No worries.
Thanks all for watching. I think we've had a majority of views on and off tonight. So yeah.
Oh, cool. You probably get loads of thumbs down because I was talking about feminism. Oh well, who cares?
We're all entitled to an opinion on something.
Well, it's not. It's not an opinion when it's objectable facts.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Okay, guys. Well, I'll be awaiting your birthday messages.
Don't worry, the gorilla will be round later.
Okay. See you all.
See you, mate.